Yo, people, welcome back to the Big Six. Welcome back to the channel. Your host to do the most and never coast, MATISSE in the building. Listen, I can't get everybody in the right spaces quickly enough. I don't know how Turkish does this, man. The intro is not long enough. There's no space. There's no time. But what there is time for is some shamelessness. And we can see SAEED is well addressed, well equipped, ready to rock and roll. Big up everybody in the chat. Pleasure as always. Hugh, my brother, how are you doing today? Good to see you again. Second time, man. Second time.
Yeah, man. I'm great. I'm never better. Life's good.
You sure you're great? Because I saw on your Instagram that you were feeling a little bit worse for wear on the way back to Dublin this morning, man.
That was just a hangover. Other than that, I'm all good. Don't worry about me.
What? The football or the alcohol?
Listen, don't worry about me. Mate, I'm trying to come to terms with this weekend. It's been an absolutely crazy weekend. You know, we lose the Spurs 5th time going to that stadium without scoring. Right, it is what it is. I get off the plane in Dublin this morning feeling a bit worse for wear. City are being charged with 100 different things. They've gone back on some of the charges and they've re-put out new charges. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm not a lawyer. Simple as.
SAEED. Shameless SAEED with them sunglasses.
Yeah, listen, it's been a long day today. Just been filing up some papers and whatnot. But yeah, welcome to the show. And yeah, it's going to be a very good one. I can believe. More than you can believe. More than you can believe. We are here today. And, you know, we are ready. Because I feel like for me, there's a lot that needs to be answered today. And I'm here. And we are dressed for the occasion, should I say. You know what I mean? We are dressed for the occasion. But yeah.
Wow. Family man, community man. It's been a while, my brother. How are you doing? Good to see you today. Very good.
It's good to be here, man. It's good to be here. I see the brothers, you know what I mean? The usual gang. Be saying Huey looks a bit disheveled, but we're going to get into that. SAEED is ready. Undertaker is here. Toby's got that smile when, you know, every now and again he has that smile where he just brings the camera close up to his teeth. You know what I mean? Just non-stop smiling through the stream. And welcome SHEROY, man. You know what I mean? Absolute pleasure. Of course, man. Welcome SHEROY, man, to the stream. You know what I mean? 100%. One of my favorite people on the Arsenal social media thing, man. I love listening to him. You know what I mean? So big up yourself. But yeah, man, it's good to be back. People, yo, I've been hearing people saying I'm ducking and diving like Liverpool ain't been shit. Like every week, like ain't the community man allowed to go on holiday and shit and have a little rest? And I heard none of you lot back me. Not one of you. I watched the streams back. Not one of you said, nah, he ain't ducking, man. GRIZZ ain't no ducking and diving.
It's when you went to the mountains.
I heard you. Yeah, the problem, Matt, look, this hat you don't get from the cities. People already know in the chat. This is serious headgear. When this hat comes on, you guys know man has to be connected to be wearing this. But the problem, there's no Wi-Fi in the mountains. So I was struggling in it. Man was struggling for Wi-Fi. And I heard people saying, oh, he's ducking the smoke. He's ducking. Come on, man. I ain't ducking the smoke. And none of you lot back me. So I'm just, you know me, I make notes. None of you lot back me in that shit. But thank you very much. I'm back. And it's wicked to be here. You guys looking fresh. And you look like wolves, dare I say it.
We are.
That's what I'm saying.
We
hungry. Like wolves. Hungry wolves.
Hungry.
Yeah.
TOBS, are you hungry, bro? You were munching just before we started. You seem hungry.
Yeah, I was just snacking on some, you know, some Cheetos, some flaming hot Cheeto crisps. But we gonna flambe some teams this evening. So boy, I'm ready. I'm good to go. And I echo GRIZZ's thoughts on SHEROY as well, man. I actually quite like SHEROY's opinions. Probably one of the few Arsenal fans that are quite balanced with it. So this should be a really good show.
Debut to SHEROY, bro. You're getting a lot of love in the building. You know what I'm saying? As an Arsenal fan, it ain't easy. How are you doing, bro? You're having a great time this season. How are you doing? Debut.
Yeah, pleasure. Great time this season. But there were a lot of weeks when I could have appeared on this show when we had, you know, a win. But it just so happens that I'm making my debut after a loss. It is what it is. But before we even get into it, because I know SAEED is ready. SAEED came on fully dressed like the Undertaker and the pallbearer at the same time. I said I didn't want to be here after an Arsenal loss, but I also didn't want to be here because of the reason that I'm here, right? My boy Turkish and his family, they're grieving, they're going through a lot. And that guy takes so much pride in the content that he puts out. I'm a huge fan of this show, you know, and this is certainly one of his many sort of brainchildren. And he shows so much love to everyone in the comments, whether positive or negative, with the engagement. So when you're going through something like that, it would mean the world to him if he continues getting the love that you've all showed him in the online community. And also, love, thoughts, and prayers to those in Turkey and Syria, man, because they've gone through inexplicable tragedy today. And I hope that the international humanitarian response is exactly what it ought to be. But now that I've got that off my chest, Matisse, host with the most, over to you, brother.
Bro,
I think I know where you're going.
Thank
I
you,
think
bro.
I know where you're going.
Listen, wonderful words from you, as always. And listen, there's only one place to start, man. The chat are absolutely chomping at the bit with what we saw today in that breaking news. They just can't wait to get stuck into this Manchester City net spend green team. Yeah. And Hugh, I don't know if you want to kick it off, if you want to start, if you want to let SAEED really run amok. The floor is open to you, Hugh. I'm going to let you pick your poison, my brother.
Yeah, let the Undertaker do his thing, man. So he had a job interview before this. That's why who's giving this guy an interview, man? Who's hiring this guy?
Listen, we are here. We are gathered today to witness.
We are gathered today.
We are gathered today.
Wow. Okay.
And I have a letter, brown, white letter here that I've just been sent of all the details of all the mishaps of this football club that have rose from the dead out of nowhere. They try to claim, we're the biggest club in the world. If they're financially, stable, we do it things right. They try to talk about all this money and richest club in the world when eventually they got it from an Arab owner that spent it all. But we are witnessing, people. That's why I'm gathered today. I'm dressed in black to witness the end of Man City. And it is the end, because what they've done is they've cheated their way through here. They spent all the money. They've been dodgy about certain stuff. And this is why I've come out and I'm just coming to dress on the occasion, because it's a dark, dark day for Man City. And it's only been 10 years. The football club's only existed for 10, 11 years, and it's already over. And all you've built for them last 11 years have been false, because you ain't won it. You've basically practically cheated your way through it. And that's what you've done, Hughie. You can dress it up all you want, and you can say evidence, and we'll bring the evidence. You can't appeal it. You can't really do much about it. The only thing you can do is justify what you've done. And that's going to be crazy. Because at the end of the day, last time you did that, you spent so much money to UEFA to kind of cover it all up. But I'm just loving this, and I can't wait. And it's not going to happen to a better club. And now, Hughie, you don't have to worry about the Champions League anymore, because you're going to be playing in League 2. Or you know what? I might even phone up Moss Side Council now and say, get back to Main Road, and you can maybe go back to that ground and have your little crowd that you say, oh, we're Fulham City, we're the pride of Manchester. And you go back to that ground, play Peterborough. You know what? Bit of Yeovil on another Saturday night, and you can have fun there. Because now, you, man, are done out here. What a sweet moment. You tried to catch up to us. Look how desperate they were to be like Man United. Look how desperate they were. They wanted to be like Man United. So what did they do? They cheated their way up. They tried to do the fast process. And look where it's got you. You're depressed. You know what? Fair play to Steve. Yeah, he confronted me today. But he's having to dig up the lawyers and find out the best lawyers. I know he does. But I'm loving it, because we've built our history through, the Man United and what we've done. You know what I mean? We're a big club. We've done it the right way. Listen, you lot, Robinho, Ilano, all of them, was it worth it? Was it worth it in the end? Aguero? Oh,
absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
Hold on a little bit. Aguero, no more now, because away from you. So it's not going to be Aguero. It's going to be, Thanos. We're getting Thanos, and he's just going to rewrite history. And it's going to be going back to Division 2, and you lot with your little banana things that you used to have in the stadium, all of that good stuff. And then, you know what? You lot can just have your little banter at Main Road and where you were down in Moss Side. Because right now, you lot are in the mud. I seen you look stressed today, Hugh. I thought, you know what? Let me just call Hugh and see if he's all right, because it's a bit, I've got some sympathy to you. You've been a good friend. My favourite Irishman, you know what I mean? So I thought, you know what? Let me say hello to him. But look, your hair's all over the place. You've not even like, normally it's quite all right, but now it's a bit, I don't know, man. But listen, I just wanted to give my wishes to you guys, and I hope you do well in League 2. And what's everyone else saying? Are we over the party tonight? What's going on? And by the way, the next fall of investigation is Chelsea. So once we do with these, Chelsea is next. So you Chelsea fans in the chat, don't be too giddy.
Don't go anywhere.
Go anywhere. Yeah, exactly. Don't want to go anywhere, Chelsea. But Man City, I don't know. I think I've said enough. Really, should I stop or shall I keep going? Exactly, keep going. So, Hughie, you've got anything to say for yourself?
Listen, Sherlock Holmes, right? Listen, I didn't realize that you knew all the legalities, and I didn't realize. Was there a tweet that came out saying the case has been closed? Are City just guilty of all of these things? Did you read City's statement? Did you realize our hard-nosed stance?
I heard City. You know what they said? We are surprised. Oh, surprise!
No, they said we've known this day has been coming for 4 years, and we've been building up evidence. They have irrefutable evidence. Do you know what irrefutable means? It means non-negotiable evidence.
When you're guilty, that's what's going to happen. Pep Guardiola's he's already got an escape plan. He's gone, mate. If I find out what's going on, he said I'm going. So but Guardiola, the greatest manager ever, is going, and you're probably going to have Vincent Kompany in League Two. How about that? Vincent Kompany.
I want to come from a more serious point of view and outlook.
This guy's a joke, man. He doesn't want to talk about the seriousness of the situation and have an actual conversation about what's going on. You're back in League Two. Oh, go back to Main Road. It's hilarious, man. But you're not having a real conversation.
That's what's going to happen.
Why? How do you know that's what's going to happen? We could get away scot-free.
Are you confident about the situation? Are you confident? The fact that UEFA can't bail you out now and you can't pay UEFA some dodgy money that you stinks,
man. It's fishy as fuck. It's fishy as fuck. They said they've been building this for 4 years about Manchester City, over 100 charges. They released the initial 100 odd charges, and then they pull it back, and they have to go back.
Everybody's against Man City. Everybody's against the moral high ground of Man City. Everyone's against. Listen, mate, it's dodgy. What you've done there is dodgy, mate. You can't come in here and say we have more revenue than Man United. Are you having me on, mate? It's all dodgy. Everything in that box is dodgy. And like I said, you can pay it out the way you want to. Man City are guilty. And I'm telling you now, it's going to prove to the world, mate. It's just a matter of time, mate.
But what was you going to say, Matisse?
Can I ask family man, community man? I'm surprised that you're willing to take the high ground on this. I know your potential cooking is coming.
What do you mean
very
by that?
soon. Because your potential cooking is coming, and you know that the chicken will be marinated more than you can believe, and you know that the spices will be so spicy, and you know that my goodness, bro, you will be flipped, diced, and sliced, bro. So why would you now, in your moment of reckoning, where Klopp could have had his hands on 2 more titles, all of this slander that your Jurgen is taking, all of this team that is falling before our very eyes, could have had 2 more titles. All of this stress for Fabinho, all this hair that is falling out of people's heads, for nothing. When they could have had 2 more titles for a team that have done
including mine.
Yeah, all of this war hat for what? Bro?
I just look. FFP is a humbler, isn't it? That's all I'm saying. Like, this financial fair play thing has come to a head now, and you're right. You're right. I should be in a more violent mood. But I don't know why I'm not. Maybe, maybe the trip and the break from all this madness has calmed me down a little bit. But I wanted to pick up on something Hughie said, or Hughie said Man City said. They said they knew this day was coming. Why do they think that? Does anybody know why they thought this day was coming?
Because they've been under investigation for over half a decade. So you're under investigation on notice, right? But my point with all of this is, if you're under investigation for half a decade and these charges have been accumulated for the best part of a decade, I'm instantly thinking, why now? Why has this been announced halfway through a season when Hugh's right? I mean, these charges are unproven as it stands, which is why it's going to an independent panel. And that panel is being heard in private. Why now, right? So look, GRIZZ, you said you wanted to have a slightly serious conversation, right? So I'm sure we're going to get back to the cooking, but
no. We're serious today.
The white paper on football governance was due to come out this week. For anyone that doesn't know what a white paper is, it's if legislation is the baby, then the white paper is the sperm. Yeah, that's the inception of it. All right. That came about because there were concerns after Newcastle's ownership. There were concerns when Bury went down, and then there were massive concerns about the Super League. Okay. And that was due to sort of take away an element of autonomy from the Premier League. One of the things this white paper proposed was Premier League owners, having to account for the funds that they're pumping into these clubs in a lot more transparent way than they have been at this moment in time. That if you're part of the Premier League and you've basically been able to mark your own homework, that might not be good news for Premier League executives and the Premier League board. That might be the end of the gravy train. So they perhaps don't want that external regulation, and they want a show of strength now before that white paper comes out to say, you know what, we do take action. We can police this. Look, we're going to rain down on Man City now, because this is a very inopportune time to come down on the league leaders, the people that have dominated your league for the last half a decade, because it actually questions the integrity of the league on the world stage. So it doesn't make sense for the Premier League to do this. But what's happened? As a direct result, that white paper has been pushed back. It's no longer coming out on Wednesday. All right. So maybe there is now a bit of grappling as to whether the Premier League can regulate itself when it comes to finances. And sadly, Hugh, it looks like your club might be the example. But the reason I don't want to lay into you just yet, and I don't want to lay into your club just yet, one, nothing's been proven, so I'll wait until there's some sort of conclusion, because I'm not a fan of this whole trial by internet thing. But two, how many of us can sit here with confidence and say that our owners may not have pulled some shady shit over the last 5 or 10 years? Honestly, Manchester United, the amount that you've spent on players, I think, 5 or 6 of the top 10 acquisitions. TOBS, would you trust Daniel Levy as far as you can throw him? Matisse, blood, I don't want to talk about your owners over the last 5 years.
Hey, my owners are fresh, bro. My owners are so fresh, bro. They only just arrived.
Yeah. Look at the amount of money they're dropping. Do you know what I mean? That's when those.
I actually said this exact thing just literally on my channel 20 minutes before. I said there is no way I am claiming that any of our clubs are squeaky clean, our owners are squeaky clean, and we haven't at some stage, whatever you want to say, done things that may be looked into or looked at. But the facts of the matter are we're dealing with the now. And the now is the Premier League 4-year investigation, I believe. 4-year investigation, 4 years of gathering evidence, 4 years of really, really trying to find proof and evidence beyond reasonable doubt. Because now, I think it's a very tricky situation, because yes, we know that Man City were able to appeal to CAS, wasn't it, SHEROY? But this is different, right? This is different.
This is being dealt with. Sorry to cut you off.
Go for it.
If they really wanted this to be transparent, that this would have been a lot more open than it is going to be. This is being dealt with in a behind closed doors arbitration. All right, and arbitration is basically let's broker a deal to make this as painless as possible. The guy who's heading up this arbitration panel
is an Arsenal fan.
He's an Arsenal member, but that's neither here nor there. I thought, you know what? Let me look up who's heading this up. So let me see how much faith I'm going to have in this process. All right, Hugh, brother, it's not good news. I'm telling you this now. This is not good news.
I'm so sick of bad news, man. I'm so sick of it.
His many practice areas over the years have included culture, media, and sports law, offshore fraud, asset tracing, with an emphasis on cross-border jurisdiction and remedy.
Oh, he's serious.
He is King's Counsel. He has been appointed King's Counsel for almost as long as I've been alive. But one thing he says is he is a neutral who resolves disputes rather than fighting them pointlessly. So look, this could reach settlement, which is why I'm just going to sit here and be the voice of reason. They might reach some sort of amicable agreement here, and it might not be the end of Manchester City. We all know what happened when Abramovich got sanctioned. It was save the bridge. Everyone said this is the end of Chelsea Football Club. It wasn't. All right, it wasn't. That day may still come. But my point is, let's not jump the gun here, because we all know how when this much money is at stake, and potentially geopolitics is involved, we all know how this might play out. That's all I'm saying.
If it's a fine, you might as well forget it. Like, there's no point if it's a fine. Like, you might as well scrap this whole argument. If it's a fine, the Premier League have to have a stance and not accept a fine, because Man City will pay that money. It cannot be a fine. I have to stress it to you guys, because what's the point? What's the point of our 4 years?
You say it can't be a fine, but let's be real here. Yeah, Man City are not getting relegated from this league. That's not going to happen. They're not getting relegated. So the only sort of bone of contention here is how severe the punishment might be. And of course, like, people will jump to the extreme. That is the ultimate extreme. Man City get relegated and demoted to a lower level league, but that's not going to happen. we just have to be realistic. That's not going to happen. Now, what I feel is 100 charges. There is no smoke without fire. And when you see that one of the charges is about inflated revenue, 2 and 2 makes 4, because we're seeing things that most people were questioning before this investigation even came into.
See, look, now Man City have got to him.
When the Man City's financial figures were released, all I was doing, scratching my head, was how on earth are Man City making more money than these commercial juggernauts? Like, where's this happened? Where's this come from?
I think the
first time I've been a bit skeptical in terms of how Man City's numbers are portrayed. Like, it's not the first time I've thought this.
But Sheroy asked why now, or how's this come about now? I think, and obviously we're here just to speculate and add to the speculation. Of course, that's what we're supposed to do, and give our opinion on it, fire it up a little bit. But I think that could have been one of the final straws.
Yeah.
In terms of how you portraying or suggesting that you're making more than these institutions. Love them, hate them, be rival of them. But Man United, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, and who was the other club?
Real Madrid.
Real Madrid.
Yeah.
How are you making more organic revenue than these clubs? I think that was the final straw that, you're taking a piss. Come here.
Yeah, you're taking a piss now, yeah.
Yeah, you're taking a piss. Okay, no
multiple.
problem. But now you're taking a piss. Because now you're suggesting that you're making more revenue based on your, how many years of existence did you say, SAEED? Like relevance, just like existence.
11 years. No disrespect. No disrespect.
No disrespect to the original Man City,
no
diehards. That rose from Gillingham and Stockport, not them ones. Relevant, like since the takeover, right? How are you suggesting that you've overtaken these institutions that have been in existence for like possibly in some cases, century, right? It makes no sense, even to laymen like us. Except Sheroy. Sheroy ain't no layman. Sheroy, me and you're going to speak afterwards, actually, because I need you. I need to bust cases myself. But still, how are you doing this? How are you saying this and you think you're going to get away with it? I think the authorities, and again, we don't know the time scale and everything, but I think the authorities thought, wow, you're taking the piss now.
And you know what it is as well, yeah? Like, Man City are making more money now, right? Like, the more competitions they're in and they win, the more money they're going to make. Like, they've won the Premier League 4 times in the last 5 years. That's going to pull in money, right? Their stock on a global scale has increased, right? And all these feeder clubs that they're buying, it plays into it as well. And then when you look at all the money they're making off their academy, basically following Chelsea's model in terms of buying some of these young players and selling them on at a tidy profit, they're making bank, right? But that gap between Man City pre Sheikh Mansour to present day, that gap is not so. That gap was so big, and you're telling me in the space of 11, 12 years, all of a sudden they're making more money than giants. I don't buy it personally. I don't buy it.
Just to park that for a moment. The revenue inflation is one thing, but there is also an accusation, and one of the more serious ones is that they were paying a manager a lot more than they said they were paying the manager and was being declared. Right. Now let me be perfectly clear. Yeah, if any of us were employed by anyone and we took more from our employer than was being declared, and the employer didn't declare it, we'd be in front of a judge pretty quickly. Yeah, and with the amount of money that you're talking about with football managers, that could be prison time. That's not a civil matter. That could be a criminal matter. That's white collar crime. So you can't underestimate the seriousness of that. But also, part of me thinks that if they had the smoking gun, they wouldn't have diluted it with 100 charges. 100 charges is almost something to evoke some sort of emotion and some sort of reaction, right? But if you had 3 or 4 that you knew had them nailed on, then why would you let out 100? It waters it down.
Why would we talk about the grass being too long? Things like that.
Yeah, exactly that.
By the way, we don't know. It says a minimum. There's only a minimum of 100. There's more. There's more. We don't know the amount exactly, and it's quite unheard of. It's
unprecedented.
It's quite funny. I'm not gonna lie. It's quite funny.
The man, Sheroy makes a great point.
In what way? Enlighten us. In what way?
What do you mean?
Why is it funny?
It's funny, innit? Because you know what I mean. it's funny because I remember having a conversation with Steve a few months back. Do you remember? And, you know, he got really, like, you know, as defensive as you can be as a City fan, because, you know, he's a proud Man City fan, and he's speaking about sort of how he remembers, you know, the good days. And as I said to him, fair play to him, because, you know, but I said to him, you can't deny it, because my only issue has never been they've got money, why they're spending it. Of course, if any of our clubs have got money, we want it to be spent. Look at Matisse. You know, the change in Matisse's life in the last couple of weeks is there.
Life's changed.
Life's changed. Life's
I'm on
different.
tour. I'm on tour, bro.
Life's different. If Liverpool had a fraction of the money, you know what I mean, I'd be saying spend it. So it's not coming from there. But what the point I wanted to make months ago, and I don't think I've made it well. I think maybe it's more apparent now, is they've had a bunk up. And some Man City fans refuse to accept that they've had a bunk up. And now we've realized that bunk up was, to say the least, slightly dodgy. And so therefore, you know, that rise that they claim to be organic has turned out to be the steroid equivalent. It's financial doping. It's fake. Do you know what I mean? Like, they got all the muscles and everything, but put them up in a fight with the big dogs, it looks like they might not be able to stand and last the fight, which is going to be interesting. We don't know. As SHEROY says, it's all speculation. It's all love and funny and jokes right now. But I think, taking away the banter and everything, I think it's going to be serious, because the Premier League will want to protect their brand. And this is massive, huge for them. And as we know, this is the first example of its kind. So none of us really know what's going to happen, but we know something's going to happen. I don't think it's one of those ones that fine. TOBS, I know you're saying they can't be expelled and all that. They can't be. I get that.
Do you think the points deduction is likely? Because
I have no idea, my brother.
Juventus obviously had 15 points deducted, isn't
Juventus was different because that was bribe. Yeah, that was bribing of officials,
Bribery,
etc., etc. It's a different case. So this is mad. But this, like SHEROY says, this could get deeper, you know, right now. This could get deeper. You're talking possible jail sentences. And how that affects, and look, we're talking about short term, we're talking about Liverpool being handed titles, so I'm excited. None of that shit's going to happen. Man United, you know, none of that shit's going to happen. I actually don't believe it should happen.
Yeah.
Check this out.
Would you avoid it?
I don't think they should be stripped of their titles and everything, because it's not the players.
Speak for yourself,
it's
man.
not the coaches. No, I'm serious, man.
You have to speak for yourself.
I'm being serious.
I need Paul Pogba to get his title, just to kind of.
Yeah, that's desperation, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean?
I need Mourinho to get his due flowers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need my people winning, man.
It won't really hit the same.
Yo, I need my Ali Sissoko. I need Ali Sissoko to pick up a Premier League title. I need Ali Sissoko, Alberto Moreno, all these John Flanagan. You know what I mean? I want the same. But the point being is, they're not going to get stripped of their titles and whatnot. But going forward, it, like right now, will big players, big coaches wanted to be involved in this scandal? Because SHEROY, tell me if I'm wrong, this could go on for not months, but years, I think.
Yeah, look, the arbitration process, anyone that thinks there's going to be a points deduction that results in 15 points being docked off City this season and Arsenal or Manchester United winning the league, I'm sorry to say that's not going to happen. The arbitration process will take a long time, and if depending on the terms of it, they could have that arbitration decision revisited. But typically, arbitration decisions are final. So I don't think there's, as everyone's been alluding to, there is no appeal that could be drawn out for that long. But I certainly don't think it gets on before the end of this year.
I think it's one of them for me. I just think Premier League have got to make a stance. And I know, listen, we need to start being positive because Hugh's got to cry in a little bit. But
we have to go to their result against Tottenham next. So
we need to go for something a bit more positive. But I just want to end it on the Premier League. Either way, what they do, they have to set a precedent. They can't just let Man City just kind of brush it away and be like, you know what, they have to set a precedent, not for just Man City, but maybe Chelsea, maybe another club.
Why does my team keep getting?
No, because
you're next. You're next 100%. If they're doing this to clubs now, you are next.
You're making this assumption. You're making
No,
this
no,
assumption.
I'm making
No, no,
assumptions.
no,
It's
We
gonna be a reality.
haven't overpaid. We haven't
Listen,
overpaid any managers or anything.
Shut up your mouth, man. Just enjoy your sleep for the next few weeks. You'll be next to
That's what I'm saying. Like, enjoy yourself and just let it brush
enjoy
up.
yourself.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Just pretend that you never heard it, because later on, boom,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, Undertaker. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, listen, I just think for me, Premier League has just got to set a precedent, and if they're gonna do something, because you know what, yeah, as much as I say what I'm gonna say about Man City, like Premier League have made a bold move, you know, like to come out and do this when Man City can, I don't know, appeal this and whatever. Do
Was
whatever
there
they
not a
wanna do.
regulator? There was a regulator coming in anyway, wasn't there?
But that's what
Well,
I mean. I
that's
think if
David.
them it's the lesser of two evils, because
That's
I think
what it
they,
is.
they would rather manage their own affairs than have an
Yeah,
independent.
I'm not
come
giving
in
Premier League
and
credit
look
for
at
this.
what- And then look at what the Premier League was doing, because then
Yeah.
the Premier League get looked at by the regulator. That might be worse for them. That might be worse.
I'm not giving credit to the Premier League at all. I don't think this is coming from a good place.
And then also, Man City will come in hard. If they found out that they didn't do anything, Man City, best believe, will be doing everything they can to either sue the Premier League or do something crazy. So, because that's a big thing for them.
It's reputational damage, isn't it? It is.
It's reputational damage. And this is me, as a United fan. I don't want to say that about City.
But can I ask Huey? Can I ask Huey? Will this tarnish any of your, like, are you bothered? Do you care? Like, any of your
In what sense?
titles and like, you know, like even if we don't get the final results, and we pretty much know that you have financially doped, right? But obviously it may be difficult to prove it. But obviously you're going to get so much banter and etc. from rival fans. Are you going to give a shit that you're not going to be none of your titles? None of your titles. No one's going to give a shit that you won 6, 7.
I don't give a shit. I did that Battle of the North show with Matisse beforehand, and his guy Hassam was saying, "Oh, give me my titles. I need Steven Gerrard to have his titles." If I'm being totally real, it wouldn't bother me too much. Yeah, it would be annoying that it's marked off the record if that had to be the case, but I've already experienced them. I've already had my fun. I've had my moment. I've lived that. I've made the memory. I've enjoyed the feeling of lifting or winning a Premier League, being on the pitch, all that kind of stuff. Take it off me now. It is what it is. Send us down to the Championship. Send us down to League One, whatever. Some class away days. Scramble, Swindon, Grimsby, all that. Never have to go to Tottenham again. I'm sick of that place. Listen, the bottom line here is I'm reserving my judgment. I get what you're saying. And as I said before we went live, I'm completely in the dark when it comes to the legalities. I'm not fully clued up on FFP because I don't think it's crystal clear what was proposed to the clubs before was brought in, as in contrast to what they actually got. I don't actually know the ins and outs. I'm just reserving my judgment until it does come to a conclusion. City seemed hard-nosed. They look like they're going to fight at the full distance. The Premier League have had to go back at themselves. Someone is going to come out looking really silly. Someone is going to come out with egg on their face because they're both going in saying, I'm in the right. No, I'm in the right. We'll just have to see what happens.
Can I ask you one last question? If they were found guilty, would you want the owners out?
No.
Can I?
The thing is,
Whoa! What?
Are you mad?
No, wait. SAEED, let him land. Let him finish because what?
Wow.
Well, your family's been accused of something like family member. All right, it's not family member. It's too deep. Someone else give me another example. If you get convicted, right, you still don't want your owners out.
Blind loyalty, man. It's just blind loyalty.
No, that's craving, man. That's craving.
They've jeopardized the reputation and the heritage of your club if they've done this, by the way.
If I'm being totally real, I haven't deeped it properly. I really haven't thought about the extent of the situation.
You didn't think about the answer there, my brother, my little brother.
No, I know. Maybe it does sound wild. I don't know. I really haven't thought about how I will feel about the whole situation. My head's a mess. My head's a genuine mess right now. I don't know how I feel. I don't know what's going on for the most part. I'm just reading statements. I'm reading alleged charges. I'm reading this, that. I don't know what to think. What I want the owners out.
I was asked the exact same question by a Man City fan in my chat, and they said, and I said, I would want my owners to get the fuck out of there, man. But I would not stop sports in a club. I want the club to carry on and move forward, because as a Liverpool fan, we're here for the long run, for the long term. We ain't here for the short-term success, blah, 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 blah. Your kind of answers just suggest that you're just here for the glory, short-term success. You don't give a shit how you done it, why you done it, and the owners, you're not ready to to make them responsible if they're found.
Well, you're asking me about a worst case scenario. We don't know that it's going to get to that stage first. I just don't know how I feel. I'd want to see the final outcome. I'd want to know what jeopardy they put the club under, what reputational damage we're looking at. I want to know the full extent of all of that before I say it. But as of right now, the answer is just no, because I don't know. It's such uncharted territory. This is absolutely crazy what we're dealing with. You're talking 100, 200 alleged charges. I don't know. It's all brand new.
The kid's confused, man. Leave him.
I know, but put it this way: when the Super League was announced, there was nothing illegal about it, but it was desperately immoral. And a number of the clubs, or the fan bases of those clubs in the Super League, wanted their owners out for that. That wasn't illegality. That wasn't unlawfulness. That was just a shitty move, and people wanted the owners out. So I really think. I mean, I can't speak for your fan base. I can't speak for you, but I do think the vast majority of your fan base would want these owners arse out the door if they are found to have done this.
Yeah, listen, I was one of the fans at the time saying with the Super League, get them out. I'm finished with that ownership and all that kind of stuff. That's the way I was. But like I said, I'm keeping it 100 with you guys. I'm not going to come on here and lie and say I know things that I don't. I'm really in the dark and confused.
No, like we get that. But we get you go look.
I'm reading club statements saying we're innocent, we've done nothing wrong, we have irrefutable evidence, and this board has done more right than wrong for this club. So my inclination is to just believe them and back them until they're proven guilty. If they're proven guilty of every single charge, I probably would feel completely different. It's just brand new to me.
Fair enough. You've changed your mind, and that's what I wanted to hear.
That's fine. Yeah.
What this means?
Move on, Saeed.
What this means for Pep is going to be very interesting. Pep's future, because I don't think he wants to be too involved in all of this. But again, we'll have to see what happens, isn't it? Because that quote that SAEED was talking about with Pep and not wanting to be lied to and whatnot.
You're snide, man. Yeah,
how am I snide?
No, because you guys are not even clocking what he's doing here. Are you clocking what he's doing?
You want Pep Guardiola?
I didn't say that.
You said it to me earlier on.
I haven't said a word about Pep Guardiola.
You are funny, Matisse, mate.
No, let him. His time is coming. His time will come. His time will come. I have no doubts about that. Anyway, we're going to discuss that later on.
Listen, I look on the right-hand side of the screen. We have two fans that are begging for new ownership, and they don't even know who's going to be taking it over their clubs. God forbid, in 10 years' time, when we do this show, you're in this situation. I'll be looking at you two very interestingly. You better be careful what you wish for. You don't know who's going to come into your clubs.
That's 10 years. Next year, mate, you're done. So forget 10 years.
Next year. You make your assumptions what you like.
You make sure you're in existence in 10 years, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Don't worry about us.
Listen,
make sure you're in existence. Yeah. You do make sure you're in existence.
We're gonna get to you very soon. We're gonna get to you. Community man.
You think you're a host and things are gonna be different. Things ain't gonna be different, bro. I'm back.
We got something for you, man. We got something for you later. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Can we get to the game? I want to get to the game, man.
I need to go through these. I need to go through these super.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna have to fly through these. Who would have thought that sanctioning a Russian would leave Chelsea without gas too? SAEED, are United back in the title race?
Listen, man, we'll get to United in a bit. Just relax with the super chats. Save your money. We'll get to United in a bit, okay?
Testing the waters. They're asking.
No. Listen, let's get to my United. Let's finish super chats. And we'll get to United.
Man, turn into Dexter's lab.
Road King says, I know everyone is looking at Chelsea now thinking we're going to be next, but I don't see us in that mess. Pep shouldn't have commented on Chelsea. I remember that comment, yes. Liverpool would be 4 times Prem winners if not for City's shenanigans. Also, Ollie would have a Prem as well. Thank you very much here for Ethan for the new membership. GRIZZ, this is from Jimmy, says, GRIZZ, how is Little Red Riding Hood? You know what he means? How is Little Red Riding Hood?
I dare not try to think what he's talking about. Me.
People were willing to be docked points after the Super League debacle, yet after the fines went out, everybody was silent. Shameless to dogpile on City. A minute silence for them kids for that SAEED taught them many years ago.
Yep.
You change your profile picture in there, brother.
Yo, that profile picture is wild. The community. We all know it's a witch hunt, but I love the banter. It's all being rushed to show the government that the PL can regulate itself. It will be.
Why are you laughing, Toby?
City fans trying to lean on us for support. Allow it. You laughed at us for last year. We got away with our sins. Cover your tracks at least. Hold that. That's a Chelsea fan, 100%. I think it's facts, to be fair. We could be living in a time where Kane has a trophy and Aguero has none.
Oh, hey.
Ooh,
Big super chat. Big super chat.
Very big super chat. Who is replacing Hugh when City is not in the Prem? It's a madness. So maybe a Newcastle fan will come and get involved with this madness. Who knows? Don't drag Chelsea into this mess. Everyone can see that we're doing what we are doing is in the open. Plus, the contracts rule doesn't change till the summer. Winky face. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Like, that is really what you guys are all referring to, and we all know that.
Well, no, he is wrong. Well, no, he is wrong.
What are you referring to? That is
everyone can see what we are doing in the open. Get out of here.
Yeah, we literally took advantage of a loophole, and they've literally closed it.
We'll see how much of a loophole is in it. Let the Premier League get stuck in.
What's the Premier League going to do? The loophole's open. The loophole's open, and
let them deal with Man City.
What?
Relax, calm up. And then we'll see.
You're just hoping. You don't really have.
I'm not hoping shit.
I'm asking you now. What is
signings? It's how you do it. It's what's the mechanic.
Go on. Do this. Go on. Do this and actually make it make sense. Go on.
It's not about just having signings. It's look at the Man City. Look at the 100 list and 100 kind of punishments they've got. It's not just about buying signings.
Bro, new ownership just come in. Do you think they've racked up 100 faults already?
Listen, they've spent 700 million. So listen,
you know how they've done it because they found the loophole, bro. You guys, you wishing on a prayer. Man.
The way you are defending, it just makes me a bit, you know.
No, you just hoping on a prayer. You're just hoping. It's all right.
Well, what do you can believe?
How have United done it the right way? No FFP in your day, and then it became a thing because Elite was scared of clubs dreaming. FFP stops clubs dreaming.
No, look, we're not saying. Look, and we've already.
Did everybody do it the right way?
Exactly.
In the 90s.
Make our own money though.
Agreed.
Arsenal, you know.
Yeah. Agreed. We all have. I'm sure all of our owners have. What's the skeletons in their
closet?
Yeah. We know this. No one's denying it. But we're fucking with Man City right now, and it's fun.
You've joined the party now. Half those charges are enough to get relegated. I haven't even read through all of the different charges, to be fair. Jimmy says, Grizzo, where art thou, club in thy league?
Well, man, first man's telling me like stories, and now he's turning into Shakespeare. Get out of here, man.
Why always me says, you are next, SAEED. United spent the same amount of money as City without any significant result. With salary bigger than City's, you will go down too.
First of all, forget about the significant result. It's not about that. And also, we generate our own revenue. You know what I mean? So there's a clear difference in that. So, yeah, bollocks.
Apparently, Fernandinho is in the City space as well. I don't know what's going on.
Yes, mad.
They're wheeling out their legends, innit? Yeah. They're wheeling out their legends, man, in space.
He's a legend, though. I got to give it. Fernandinho is a City legend. We'll give him that.
100%.
I think he's a Premier League legend. You know what I mean? He's a sick.
Oh, he's come. Steve's come out the closet. He's come out the closet. Big Steve, come on, we got you.
Oh, Jesus. Hold on. Let me just save these super chats because while I'm reading them, more are just coming in, and it's just like, I don't even know how Turkish keeps up with all of these down.
Yeah, yo.
It's impossible. All right, cool. SAEED, Todd Bowie is a financial guru. Look at how they found a loophole. They are way too smart. If they are next, then Glazers must be investigated too. City tried to surpass this being public and suppress this, being in the public and lost in the court. The charges for not filing documents is obstruction of not cooperating with the investigation. Do the white papers change City's cheating? SHEROY being real in the super chat as well. Arsenal fan here to dedicate this super chat to Spurs. North London buddies, mad, absolutely mad. GRIZZ is speaking in slow motion. Get the words out. Hey, it's been a couple of weeks. My man's been on a break. Give him a bit of time. Give him back. You know what I'm saying?
Man spent 179 on that.
So Arsenal sold 5 players to City from 2009 to 14. So that in 2023 they would lose points in the title race. Arsene Wenger, he's done it again. Jesus Christ! Somehow they always make it Arsene Wenger related. SHEROY, would you welcome an independent regulator? It's a question for you, bro.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I mean, if HMRC get to regulate my taxes and I can't mark my own homework, I think the Premier League should have the same independence when it comes to them being regulated. If I'm being honest, I think it leads to more parity and hopefully a slightly more level playing field.
That's all we want, right? That's all we want, a level playing field.
To an extent.
You guys don't want shit. You just don't like it because you're not getting the piece of the pie right now. If this was the other way, I know GRIZZ especially would be so shameless right now. He'd be enjoying life. 100%. Am I right?
100%.
What do you can believe? Take one spot.
Robot.
For example, Mazda, the eco company, is a subsidy of Marbala Investment Group, whose CEO is Mr. Khaldoon. All public info, by the way. I mean, yeah, if you went digging, I'm sure you'd find all of the information. But bloody hell, it seems like a very complicated investigation. To be fair, there's a lot of levels to this. I find it's a slap in the hand. SAEED is not interested in that, of course. Breaking news: Todd Boehly is already on the phone trying to buy the points. City will be deducted. Just the establishment: Arsenal, United, Liverpool being scared. FFP has been about protecting themselves and limiting. I'm guessing that's the composition or the complexion. Listen, we'll bust case and win. It's what we do. Blue Moon still active. I respect it. Send all Man City board and fans to prison. Jesus. That charges they agreed to, the most serious ones. Bloody hell, man's just send them to prison. I'm a United fan, so it will be easy to just dunk on City with jokes. But on a serious note, if the Premier League does not give serious punishment, if they are guilty, what message does that send? Welcome back, GRIZZ. More chocolate. Man City is barely in the top 10 for shirt sales. Their revenue makes no sense. How can they be top of revenue when they can't sell out a stadium? Hugh looks broken. I'm rejuvenated Robbie. Sure, I couldn't believe more. I couldn't agree more just about white paper, but the charges, in my experience, when you get jammed up with 100 plus charges, they either have everything or nothing at all. We will see.
And I'm sorry that you've ever been in a position where you got jammed up with over 100 charges, brother. God knows what went on there, but I'm glad you bust case.
Jesus, yeah, it must be mad. All right, guys, try and see if you can probably put a stop to the super chats on this topic, purely because we have to move on people as well. I don't want to spend the whole show on this topic. Cool. Let's get to this one here as well. SHEROY, they can come for Chelsea for any financial irregular. Bro, these brothers are trying to go irregularly. Bro, they're trying to go back to Romans time. Somewhere, bro, what's wrong with you lot? Seriously, the ownership's already gone and you're trying to go back. Is that possible? Is that
Yeah, of course it's possible.
You know what I mean?
It happened to Juve.
Shameless, fam. Oh,
This might come up in the Chelsea segment, and I'm aware that we need to move on. But one thing that happened after the Chelsea takeover is they knew that there was a lot of money that was in Chelsea Football Club that I think everyone knew had come from questionable sources, but no one did anything until it became a political issue, right? So the levels of corporate governance that had to be in place for that takeover, and the level of robustness that would have been there to ensure this new ownership wasn't of a similar ilk. Matisse, you know what? I think you can breathe a sigh of relief, mate. Because I think
because the Premier League are the one that passed these people through. So imagine
it wasn't just the Premier League though, because the government was involved.
The government as well, exactly.
They would not want that to go.
That's actually a fantastic point that SAEED and GRIZZ can take note of for future episodes. You see, if we get done for anything, that looks bad on the Premier League and the government, and they've already made enough F up. So actually, we might be in bit of trouble.
That's what my point was. I was going to get to it, but you can't be trusted. Listen, the government, you know what I mean?
You can't be trusted the government. Shit, I just realized.
Boris
Johnson was in charge when that happened. Yeah.
You know, so the government's not all.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it was Boris Johnson.
Chelsea, you know what I'm saying, man? I don't care what anyone says. You know what I'm saying?
I'm buzzing. They are trying to make the beautiful game the sweet to watch league, to Farmers League. Chelsea and United next. You said, why now? Why not now? Rumors that UEFA broke into Man City's headquarters and tried confiscating their Champions League trophy, only to come back empty-handed. I was waiting for that joke. It was always coming.
Brilliant.
Hugh's had enough. Who will Hugh go back to supporting like pre-2009? The agenda against City could be cited as racist. Listen to our statement. We welcome any inquiry. I don't know what anybody thinks on that. I've heard this talk before about if this was a different type of ownership, they wouldn't have been looked into. I mean, Roman definitely got enough transfer bans and enough stick, and he was Russian. So I don't know. I don't know if that really stacks up, to be honest. Let's see here with guys. I'm going to put a pause on these super chats in a second because it's 40, 48, 49 minutes in. Nice madness.
Edmund, man, I would have helped you out, man.
Hugh, you are a joke. How would you not want them out if you're guilty of cheating? Embarrassing. I wouldn't really. I'm not gonna jump in on that, to be honest. I think you guys are overdoing it with Hugh, to be fair on it, because there's a whole heap of ownerships that are moved absolutely mad from a humanitarian standpoint, not just financial, and they're still in charge of their football clubs. And obviously, we try to separate the two as much as possible. So I think it's a little bit think it's a little bit overblown, to be honest, in my opinion. Let's see. All right, guys, I'm going to move on to the next topic because there's just way too many super chats on this, and we'll get to them at the end. But I need to move on with the show, people. Hugh, TOBS, quick recap on what's been happening. I mean, in your result, 1-0 to Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and you're helping your brothers out, TOBS, with Arsenal, man. Mixed emotions. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling happy that we won. To be honest, I'm happy we won. We needed to get back to winning ways at home. Unfortunately for Man City, they always seem to catch us nowadays when we're on these really wretched runs of form, and we have to get a big result. Granted, that wasn't the case when they beat us 4-2 this season, but last season, when we went to their ground, we were off. I think we had lost like 2 or 3 games straight, and we needed a result. So, yeah, man, I felt like we did the job on them. We were really dangerous going forward. We were really solid defensively. Didn't let them create a single thing. Nullified all of their key threats, and yeah, made Man City look pretty ordinary. So, props to us. Props to Conte. Props to Stellini. Props to Emerson Royale. I thought he was fantastic. Probably the best game I've seen from Emerson in a Spurs shirt, and I criticize him a lot. It's not a redemption tour for me, but when a player plays well, I'm going to give him his credit, and he was fantastic. I thought him and Ben Davies were our best 2 players on the day. Ben Davies was immense, man. I don't know what it is when this guy plays Man City, but that's like 2 colossal performances in the last 12 months he's putting against Man City. Like, he was excellent on and off the ball pass, bar 1 Higgy pass. Excellent, man. Even Romero, people are dumping on Romero because he got the red card, but Romero had a good game. His pressing, his energy, getting into the opposition first, didn't give Haaland the sniff, was excellent. Again, bar the crazy challenge on Haaland in the first half and maybe like 1 or 2 loose passes, he was really good. Dyer, really good. Bentancur, he was good. Højbjerg, I would say he had a good game, but his energy was really good. But I felt like on the ball we could have done things better. But generally, it was a good all-round performance, man. I don't know what this means for Spurs. I don't know if it's a one-off. I don't know if we're going to go on a run. You just can never tell with Tottenham at the moment. But it was a good reaction. So we'll take that, man. We'll take that every day of the week.
I mean, Hugh, man. Oh, sorry. Go on, Grizz. Go.
No. Cool. No, I was going to say before. I remember it's been a while since I've been on, man. But I remember me asking Toby, "Where's the Conte influence? Like, where's the Conte performance? Where's the Conte coming out? Like, we need to see him exert his personality on this team." And I thought, if you want an example and a sample or a show of Conte, a Conte team at his best, I thought we saw it on Sunday. I thought City were rubbish and crap, but that's not taking anything away from Spurs. I thought that was the most Conte performance, and obviously Toby will know more, but that's the best Conte performance I've seen in a while from Spurs, from start to finish. I thought the game plan, the tenacity, there's everything about them, even the shithousery from the likes of Emerson Royale and Romero. That was pure Conte, and I enjoyed it, even though they stretch away from us Spurs in this top 6 or 8, whatever race Liverpool in. We're going to get to that, but I thought that was the most Conte performance in a while. Don't know if you agree, Toby.
Yeah, I would say so. I think that's probably, as a team, outside of the first game of the season against Southampton, and probably the Fulham match. You know what? Just because of the level of opposition involved, I would probably go as far to say that was probably our best team performance of the season. So yeah, I would say it's been a long time since you've seen one of those performances from Spurs. So yeah, it was very much welcome. But as I said, will it last? I don't know. Time will tell.
It's Man City, though, isn't it? You beat Man City every time, so maybe you just have their number. You know what I'm saying? But
I mean, they beat us 4-2 like 2 weeks ago, though. That's
no, as in
when you're at home, isn't it? 5 wins in a row?
No goals.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
No, go on, SAEED.
No, I'm just saying. For me, I echo what GRIZZ is saying, man. I think it was a magnificent performance. I think Eric Dyer. Where was that Eric Dyer performance? I mean, listen, he's
really
normally quite shoddy, but he stood up and he was just one thing. What I liked about him, he was very aggressive. He came close to Haaland. He was very aggressive with it. You know what I mean? He wasn't kind of passive and kind of stood off players. I thought Tottenham just had the game plan to a T. I really, really do. We could talk about how bad City were, and we will do, but sometimes you have to credit Tottenham, you know, especially at home. I thought Emerson Royal, listen, when you have competition, Emerson Royal was like, Pedro Porro coming. Oh, yeah, okay, then I'll start to be a defender now. And that kind of reminds me of like Luke Shaw in a sense, because when he has competition, he rises up as well.
And even another player that's been criticised like Son, and rightly so. Because Son is one lively. Of the and he was lively. That's his ball carrying was back to something like the Son that we know. I just thought I looked at the two strikers, right? And we know Haaland is going to break Premier League records and whatnot. But I looked at the other guy on the other side, Harry Kane, and you see a footballer and a striker and a goal scorer and intelligence all roll into one. And look, we know Haaland is going to score 100 goals, right? Whatever. But I just think Harry Kane showed, for me, who's the more polished striker and footballer. I thought Harry Kane was superb again.
Yeah, man. Listen, Kane ran it back to a certain extent. I felt like he could have done better with a couple opportunities in the second half, but the all-round performance, that's what you get from a man like Harry Kane. And I remember me and Hugh had the conversation at the start of the season with Kane and Haaland, and I was very firm in my belief of Harry Kane, not just on his finishing, but just him as a striker. Like,
he's magnificent.
I don't really understand the disrespect that this guy gets. Haaland comes into the league. Haaland has been fantastic. He's probably the front runner for PFA Player of the Year. Yeah, but Harry Kane has scored 17 goals in 22 games, 22 Premier League games for a dysfunctional Spurs team that have played really poorly for the majority of the season. And he's so consistent for Spurs. He's now our all-time outright goal scorer, 200 Premier League goals. 200 Premier League goals, and he's reached that tally quicker than Alan Shearer, quicker than Wayne Rooney. I said at the start of the season, this guy's going to break Wayne Rooney's record. If he stays fit, he's breaking Wayne Rooney's record. And lo and behold, here we are in February. He's 9 goals away from breaking Wayne Rooney's record. So he needs to score 9 goals in our remaining 16 games to break that record. And with the form he's in now, you won't bet against Harry Kane. You won't bet against him breaking that record. So we can talk about the moments where he's bottled it, and yeah, he deserves criticism in those moments, but we also have to appreciate that this guy is a bona fide world-class striker. Bona fide.
Arsenal-Tottenham rivalry aside, I'm really starting to admire Harry Kane's loyalty now. I know there was a lot of stick, and there always is a lot of stick leveled at him, saying what's he doing? He lacks ambition. He's going to have an empty trophy cabinet. Why is he still at Spurs? But all I can do is put the shoe on the other foot and think about how I felt when Robin van Persie left and said that he left to go and win trophies. I was devastated. I thought the guy could have gone down an Arsenal legend. I knew what would happen to our club when he left. Harry Kane clearly loves Tottenham and loves the Tottenham fans so much that he sees that as his legacy. Maybe his loyalty is going to be his legacy. And in the kind of world that we live in and in this sport, that level of loyalty is rare, man. So I think I'm actually just going to stop poking fun at him for sticking around because his quality just does not drop.
Man. No, don't stop that.
People call him Mr. North London Derby, right? But I've said this to you before, Tobes. He doesn't just score in the North London Derby, man. He scores in every game. He scores against everyone. The guy just bangs goals, and he's not losing the desire for Tottenham, despite the fact that, in my opinion, it looks like this trophy drought may well continue. It wouldn't surprise me if he signs on again. It would not surprise me if he signs on again.
I think it'd be a massive mistake for him to sign on again. I'm sorry. I understand the loyalty thing, but I think he's already exceeded that already. I think he's already shown enough loyalty. He's already shown more than enough commitment, and he's also. And Spurs fans will never hold it against him as well if he moves now.
I know, but that's why it's so amazing. That's why it's so amazing. He's still not going. He knows he has.
But Sheroy, there comes a point where, if you know that and you've done everything you can to help Spurs and you've shown your loyalty, there comes a point where you need to take that tag that you've been labeled away. And the only way to do that is go and prove to be a winner as well as a loyal, brilliant, world-class striker. So for that to happen, he needs to do that. I get what you're saying, and you're being the ultimate football romantic, and I get that. But in the cold light of day, if he wants to be elevated into the elite status, which I think he can be, because that's how much I rate him, he needs to move from Spurs. Because despite us praising Spurs, what they've done against City and everything, they do need to win trophies, and he does need to win trophies just to secure that elite legacy. In my opinion.
He might win one this year with the FA Cup. But I'm sorry, am I missing something? Because I know SHEROY, you said about loyalty, but did he not want to leave last summer? Am I missing something?
He did. But I mean, in terms of throwing your toys out of the pram, there, look, he was away from the squad.
No, he's too professional for that. Yeah, he's too professional
for an ever so slight amount of time. But look, man, he didn't do an odd and wingy. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't coming out doing a Caicedo and saying, "Oh, come on, let me go, let me achieve."
I get that.
He could have done a lot more to force it. He could have done a lot more to force it.
No, but he went on overlap.
He put a transfer request in, didn't he?
He put a transfer request. He cried on the overlap to Gary Neville that he said he wanted to leave. I mean, sorry, but that's not loyalty, is it? Don't know. If that's
I actually do hear where Saeed's coming from. I do think for the most part he is professional, but in that period he was thoroughly unprofessional. It was unlike Kane, in my opinion. And I think even beyond that, when you look at the season, probably the first 3-4 months of that campaign, he was not Harry Kane. Like, I did not recognize that player. He looked like a player who didn't get his move and was just hell-bent on being at Man City and had minimal motivation for Spurs. It was only up until December where you saw the real Kane start to actually show glimpses. But listen, GRIZZ made a point about Spurs fans not holding it against him. I can't speak for Spurs fans. I'm only going to speak for myself and the people that I've spoken. Some of the people that I've spoken to, I would never hold it against him. Me personally, I think he probably owes it to himself at 29 years old to go to a club that will be able to regularly compete for honors, where you can be the difference. Because unfortunately, with the ownership that we have now, it doesn't look like that's going to be at Spurs. So he's got to do what is in his best interest. And if that means leaving Spurs, so be it. To be honest, Spurs are at a point now where we eventually have to move on from Harry Kane. We have to move on from these guys, right? So it is what it is.
I have to ask the question, all right? Hugh, title talk. What are we thinking, man? Because you guys, you don't fill me with confidence that you're going to go on this 10, 15 game run. I know everybody was talking about it with Liverpool. I shut that down months ago. I'm glad I did. Now I have to. I'm almost getting ready to shut it down with you guys as well, because you just don't look. You don't look the same, man. You guys look, and with all of this stuff coming out as well, that is not going to add. That's not going to help. That's only going to cause a distraction, if anything, and take away from the team. And the stadium's being criticized for not having enough of a jump to it. When you're, I just can't see how this. It looks like it's all just going against you right now, bro.
Yeah, I mean, listen, with the Tottenham game, it's kind of just stereotypical. That's 5 times we've gone there now. We've not even scored a goal. It just seems like it's a complete bogey place for us to go. But yeah, as far as the season goes, it's disappointing this weekend because it was a massive, massive opportunity for us to capitalize on a defeat that Arsenal had the day before. And if we'd gone to beat Villa next week and then we beat Arsenal, if that was to happen in the Emirates, we'd be top of the league. And then we're talking about a whole different ball game. So it's massively disappointing. I mean, yesterday just simply wasn't good enough. I mean, I don't think we were out tacticked. I don't think it was a masterclass from Conte. I think it's very simple. I said this to you earlier on. It's very simple to set up against City. We don't take any risks. We're all about keeping the ball, and that's to the detriment of our overall performance and our results. Pass sideways, pass it backwards, absolutely zero chance creation, nothing in behind. Remember those magic 6-yard balls across the 6-yard box that were vintage City for years? We'd work our way in behind, put them across 6-yard box, Sterling's the back post, tap it in. We don't get that anymore. We don't get that at all anymore. It's a Grealish will get in the wing. He has 2 or 3 man on him. He has to turn back and give it back to Akira Kanji. They'll pass it 10 times between them. There's no risk. It's all telegraphable. So if you sit back, low block, soak up the pressure from City, and then pounce on the counter, which Tottenham do have the quality players to do so. United did obviously too with Rashford, and Kane can do it with Tottenham, and Kulusevski was great. It's easy to telegraph. We don't have a plan B, and everyone's saying City aren't good enough, City don't look themselves, but we as City fans, we just have the faith that it will come good, it will come right. I know I'm not really allowed to use the term for some reason, but whether you like it or not, it is very much a transitional season for Manchester City, completely adapting to a new system, a new style of play, trying different things out. You have to refresh. You have to do new things. If you do the same thing year on year on year, it goes stale. Look at poor family man down the corner there. His team doing the same thing for 7 years and they've collapsed completely.
Hughie,
Pep's trying to prevent this from happening. And if this is a transitional season, it's a pretty good one in second place so far. I don't think we're wrote off. I don't think we're wrote off from the Premier League. I still think we can win it. Granted, it'll take a massive effort, but I believe Arsenal will slip up more too.
Everybody's got something to say here. One at a time.
I caught it straight, so I have every right to. I caught it straight, so I've got every right to. But go on.
No, but I just want to address the point he made around our tactic about I do think Man City are predictable, but I also feel like you're not giving us enough credit because we didn't score from counter-attacking. We scored because we pressed high up the pitch. We pressed high up the pitch. We rarely do that in games. We pressed high up the pitch and we pressed with 6 players. Yeah. Our 3 attackers, our 2 midfielders, and a centre-back. We left 4 men at the back. We rarely do that, but we took a risk. Why? Because we took a risk a couple of weeks back at the Etihad. It culminated in a goal. And we said, you know what? We're going to do it again. So I reject the notion that, you don't think it's a bit of a tactical sort of bit of brilliance from Spurs. I think it was. I think tactically we were able to nullify you and we were able to express ourselves in a way that you don't usually associate with Spurs.
I actually agree with Hughie in terms of I don't think it was a tactical master plan from Spurs. I think Spurs played whatever game they played it brilliantly. They played it brilliantly. Where I disagree with Hughie and where I think Hughie, I want to ask you some questions about your manager and your team situation. First and foremost, I agree with you with Liverpool, the Liverpool dig that you had. So I have to take that and face that and, listen to your shit. But I want to ask you about your club and is everything all right there? Like in terms of the atmosphere between the players, the club, the non-signing, the weakening of the squad, who is this down to? Because Liverpool, of course, have been asked similar questions. And yes, we know, we're the laughing stock right now. But I want to ask Man City and you right now, Pep Guardiola has significantly, in my opinion, I don't know what the rest of you guys think, weakened that squad. I spoke on the absence of Zinchenko, Jesus, and who's the other one? Sterling, being allowed to leave and being replaced by Haaland and who's the other, the wee striker? Alvarez. And I said 2 new strikers will take time to settle in. Now, obviously, Haaland hasn't taken time to settle in terms of goals output, but in terms of stylistically for the team, I think there's a massive difference. It was for the first time in a long time, I thought City didn't look like scoring from the start. Like I could see no threat. I thought Spurs was so comfortable. Of course, Spurs were brilliant. I admit that, but I don't think they're tactically brilliant. I think then on top of that, you're letting Cancelo go over a spat. Obviously, Cancelo's not happy at the squad. You're replacing Cancelo's game intelligence, his positional play, his assist play, his technique in that inverted fullback, and replacing him with a young Rico Lewis. Now, Rico Lewis might be brilliant, might be tenacious, might be the young academy star of Man City. He ain't no Cancelo. He's definitely not on the same level, intelligent-wise, technically-wise, in an inverted fullback. I thought that was a disastrous move to play in there. Kyle Walker is a Premier League great. But he was a Premier League great as a marauding, attacking, overlapping fullback. That's what Kyle Walker, pace, physical prowess, that's what he was known as. He's been now used as the opposite of, the inverted fullback on the right side. I think there are glaring issues with Pep's game plan. You cannot watch Arsenal the night before slip up, or the day before, slip up, and this is your chance to pounce. And Man City done it every time to us, so I'm speaking from a frustration point of view as well. I get it, but why the fuck you're not capitalizing on them? But on top of that, you're going into Spurs We know it's your bogey ground. You haven't scored a goal in 4 games. And you take off Mahrez at halftime or just after halftime. No Foden, no Gundogan, no Kevin De Bruyne. Are you mad? Okay, Foden's not available. Foden's ill, no problem. Are you mad? Are you mad not picking your best players? Like Kevin De Bruyne is the only one with the instinct and natural vision to see Haaland runs. The rest of your team have been programmed to keep the ball. Haaland was just running around doing sprints like he's on a beach or something, preseason training. Motherfucker was just doing shuttle runs on his own. No one's even looking to pass the ball to him. But this is a coaching issue, SAEED, because they've been programmed to just pass.
Can you imagine if Haaland went to Liverpool, had some of the chances Nunes been getting? I know he's scored loads
Haaland's
of goals.
Haaland's a goal machine.
Yeah.
But he needs to be fed. Haaland didn't get a touch in the penalty box. That's a tactical flaw from Pep Guardiola. His team selection. He's bringing on Gundogan with 7 minutes to go or something.
Criminal.
But just on that, if I remember correctly, Hugh, last week you said that Pep was lining up to do something mad, and he'll probably put De Bruyne on the bench, and he might start with Alvarez. Now, if we're all sat here saying that this is tactical ineptitude, sadly, from a great manager, why can you pick up on it, and why can't he?
Listen, which point do you want me to address first? The tactical thing, or
I think it's an overall tactics. It's an overall tactics.
It's all one thing, right? It's all one thing.
Look, it's mad. It's mad. Like individual circumstances have all accumulated and led us to this sort of point. It goes way back as far as the transfer window in the summer. You know, you don't get certain targets that were obviously going to be a massive part of a game plan. The thing with De Bruyne, and I said it, like I just had a feeling he was going to do something crazy. I said Alvarez will probably start in maybe a number 10 role or alongside Haaland, and you may not see De Bruyne. Why? Because I know the way Pep operates. Pep doesn't hold room for sentimentality. He doesn't view it the way maybe you or I would. GRIZZ, I actually agree with absolutely everything you've said. But he doesn't view it that way. Pep believes if you're not on form, you're not playing. I don't care who you are, kind of thing. And with Haaland, like you're right, we do have an absolute monster up front. And I was in that away end yesterday, and everybody around me was just shouting, put a ball over the top, play something in behind. Why are we insisting on allowing Tottenham to funnel back into a defensive shape? And then we start passing side to side, hoping for an opening. But any well-drilled defensive team won't give you a real opening, will they? You have to catch them at the right time. And that's what Tottenham did. We're not playing to his strengths. And some people are saying, drop Haaland and play Alvarez instead. I've seen City fans saying that. It's the exact same situation. If we're not giving Haaland service, why are we going to give Alvarez service? I agree. 100%. I think Pep is making some mistakes in his tactics and the way he's approaching games, but I'm not ready to jump down his throat because I've felt like this the exact same way I do plenty of times. Even in seasons we won, I'm saying I think he could have done something differently. He should have played this person in that role, allowed them to do this kind of role. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, for me, Pep has always got it right in the end. I feel I just back him to get things fixed. I don't think there's a major drop-off here. Just because you're not seeing City click into a 20-game winning streak, everyone's going, City must be in complete crisis. We're still second place. We're still in the Champions League. We're still in the FA Cup. Yes, we're not at our beautiful best, but it is what it is. I just feel it'll good.
Your fall off doesn't come at like it's your fall off is a lot.
We have to take the full context.
Your fall off is much better than everybody else's.
Premier Leagues. When you win 4 and 5 Premier Leagues, you're allowed to have a season where you don't come and lift everybody.
100%.
What's the reality in saying because City are City, because they have Pep, because they have Haaland? That's all great to say.
No one's expecting you to win 10 out of 10.
Season out, we just have to absolutely batter everybody. Things change. Cycles happen. Arsenal come along. Who's the next Arsenal? How long will Arsenal stay the way they are? United are only going to get better. I'm sure Liverpool will try to rebuild. Chelsea have spent all the money. Things change. Like it's not just as straightforward. Because
I do want to move on, boys, because we gotta get to.
I take into account absolutely everything you're saying, and there's very little I disagree with. But I'm just blinded by faith and loyalty, and that's it. I'm not jumping down his throat. I get that there's tactical decisions he could do. What?
My last point on this story, I don't think GRIZZ is saying you should give up on Pep or put him at fault for you guys not winning the league if you go on and you don't win the league. But in games like the game yesterday, he was culpable, massively culpable for the way you set up as well. But it's not just him. I think there's a lot of noise being made on Pep's decisions, and I think he definitely deserves criticism for that. But I do think some of your individual performance on the day was shocking, man. I thought Rodri was awful. Obviously, Pep played him left back. He probably shouldn't have played him left back, but Rico Lewis was poor. I've told you a million times about Jack Grealish. You'll probably say I have an agenda. A guy who plays the percentages but doesn't really impact the games. When Riyad Mahrez went off the pitch, Mahrez, who actually decided the game the last time he played at the Etihad, when Mahrez went off the pitch and I saw Jack Grealish stay on, I said, boy, that's giving me a new lease of life that we're actually going to go on and win this game, because the threat, the true attacking threat in absence of Haaland getting on the end of a move is gone. It's gone. But that's what I wanted to say.
Let's move on. Let's move on, because listen, family man, community man is in the building today. He's been missing for multiple weeks, multiple shows, multiple cookings have meant to be given and dished. But I don't know. Listen, 3-0 against Wolves at this point. I really don't know what to say at this point. You know, you lose 3-0 to Wolves, bro, and inside what? How many minutes did it take for the first goal to be conceded? Just
5.
5, bro. I feel like we've said everything on Liverpool. I don't know what more there is to say, so I have to ask you. And people that are saying yes, the super chats, guys, listen, it's virtually impossible to do everything and then have this show at a normal time. So I've got the super chats here, but I need to move on to Liverpool before any more super chats come in. Go on, Grizz.
No, there's nothing to say. You're right. Everything's been said, and I've got nothing to add. I mean, look, I'm very happy SHEROY is on the show today. I'd like him to handle my case. I told him I need to speak to him and bust case. This is the case I wanted to bust, SHEROY. So please, if you could speak on my behalf.
I'm a lawyer. I'm not a bloody magician, bruv. I'm not a magician. The problem is here, I need to ask you a question directly now. And it's difficult for me not to talk about Liverpool.
No. You're allowed to. The others, you know, when they ask me questions, you know what I mean, I get really defensive and my back goes up. And SAEED starts fixing his microphone. Toby starts bringing the phone straight to his screen, so I see his white teeth. You know what I mean? You're different. You're my guest. Ask me what you want to ask.
Fine. When Arsenal were sort of languishing in 8th, right, and you guys were flying high, on course for a quadruple, I used to look at Liverpool with admiration. I used to look at Liverpool with a little bit of envy, if I'm being honest. That level of rock and roll football, that dynamism, that energy. I know you just played Wolves, but you guys were like a pack of wolves back then. People could not breathe on the ball. As soon as they got the ball, you were on them. You were defensively dynamic. You had all of that. And even the manner of the goals that you conceded, it wasn't easy to score against you. We couldn't buy a goal against you back then. Grizz, look at the 3 goals that went in. Look at how static your players were. Look at this. This is defensive stuff that, honestly, if I saw that at school level, I would have actually been mortified, and I would have been one of those dads shouting on the touchline at the kids for some of that defending. And this is coming from players that, all right, I know people have spoken about Van Dijk more than enough, but I used to rate Matip. I really thought that he was actually the perfect foil for Van Dijk, and I thought he was an integral part of that partnership. What is going on here? I mean, I don't even want to focus on Núñez and the fact that the chances are falling to him and he's missing them, because I get the fact that he's young and he did cost a lot, but he wasn't a part of that integral title-winning, Champions League-winning Liverpool Klopp setup. So, you know, I'm not saying that he had a fall-off, because I've not seen him operate at that level in this league. But this is absolute decimation, and I just cannot get my head around it. And the worrying thing is, when I listen to your manager now, I don't think he can either. And I didn't think that day would come this quickly.
I agree with everything you said. And obviously, you may not have heard me speak on Liverpool before. And these guys will tell you, I haven't shied away from it, that it is embarrassing. Nobody could have seen this drop-off. Nobody. And if everyone tells you they did, if anyone tells you they saw Liverpool in 10th after 19 or 20 games, they're chatting shit.
Ten Hag did.
Ten Hag did what?
Ten Hag famously said, Man City and Liverpool are 2 great teams, but eras must come to an end.
Of course, and he wasn't a scientist for saying that. Of course, all eras come to an end. You know this as well, because your era came to an end as well. You already know. You're still, so you ever won a trophy, so you until you win a trophy, you don't
please. Can I just,
so don't talk. You ain't won a trophy yet. You're still languishing in 3rd. Yeah, are you in a trophy? I'll come to you in a minute.
Anyway, you're done.
Yeah,
it's over for you.
Okay, no problem. We're done.
And you were chilling in the mountains. You know.
Yeah, we were. Let me finish. I'm answering SHEROY's question here, man. I come back to talk to you. No, I spoke to you. When I was in the mountains,
What's crying?
when I was in the mountains, I still found Wi-Fi to speak to you.
Done.
Yeah,
Go
so
on,
I don't want to
Gakpo,
speak to you.
say it.
I'm answering Sheroy's very good points and valid points. Shut
Talk
up
about
about Ten
Gakpo.
Hag.
7 games, 0
Ten Hag.
0 goals.
Ten Hag, you know.
Gakpo.
Shut up, man.
Gakpo.
You ain't done shit yet.
I don't care.
Anyway, so talk when you done shit, innit? Talk when you done shit. You know what I mean? I'm talking to Sheroy. My brother Sheroy.
Welcome back.
I'm
Welcome
going
back.
to carry on, but I'm going to
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're shit right now. You're right. The goals that we conceded were embarrassing. Like, you're right. Playground stuff. Matip, you was right to think Matip is good. You're not wrong. Your football knowledge is elite. Matip was great. Fabinho was great. The drop-off has been alarming. Now, I'm not going to dwell on the performance because we know we're playing dog shit. What I'm going to bring to the table may surprise a few people because they're going to think, oh, GRIZZ is always defending. I'm not. I try to speak on my club as I see it. And I think there's more issues than just on the pitch. And I've spoken about it. Chelsea and Matisse will back me up, hopefully, in this, that when there's ownership issues from the top, very top, and there's no clear leadership structure, which is everything that Liverpool have been praised about, the way they operate from the top to the way to the bottom, everyone from the same hymn sheet. We have lost 2 sporting directors within 12 months. Our head of research, our scientist behind the scientist, Ian Graham, people won't know and people get bored with this, but I'm just giving you facts, has left. He's the man with the brains. Backroom staff, doctors, Mane leaving as well. Not enough investment. It's a culmination of a clusterfuck. Liverpool right now is a combination of all these factors, and it starts from the top. We haven't got clarity from the owners if they want to be here or not. They want to sell the club. You guys are examples of recent, when you haven't got a great sporting director. You know, before Edu was Sven Mislintat, whatever his name is. Imagine, look at the chaos that was at your club with your owners, the sporting director, not being on the same page as Emery and before, you know, whatever. This is what Liverpool is going through. SAEED is right. In it. The era has ended. He's right. I joke with him and I muck about with him, but he's right. Eras do come to an end. And it's disappointing that this era hasn't yielded more trophies. We've won 7 trophies and there's 10 but it should be 10. Obviously, we know Man City financially doped and stopped us from winning another 3. But the point being is now, what do we do now? Nobody wants to hear, or rival fans love smashing us when you're down. And we're down, we're fucked right now. But the question on everyone else's on lips, and I think what you was insinuating is, can you see, and I think you're probably leading up to the question, these guys have asked me before, can I see Klopp rebuilding and revitalizing this squad of players? And the answer is no. Now, you guys are going to say, what? Are you serious? Yeah, I'm serious. I tweeted this very morning. I woke up and I tweeted. And you know when you wake up, your thoughts are fresh in the mind. That's the best time to tweet. I always, if you want to check out my tweets, go and check me out and check out my morning tweets. Never ignore my afternoon and evening tweets. But the morning tweets are when I'm like thinking proper football. Liverpool Football Club, Jurgen Klopp needs to reevaluate his whole philosophy on transfers, changing the fortunes of his clubs. He's never believed in transfers in being the solution. He's always believed in his talent and coaching and man management skills. I think now it's a time where he needs to play Football Manager for at least 1 or 2 windows and make wholesale changes to the squad. Because I've said it before, and I'll add to the list. You already know, guys, know the names I mentioned that I said I've finished. Yeah, they will never capture their form again. And you know, were shocked when I said Virgil van Dijk in that as well. But I'll add Fabinho, Henderson, Gomez, Milner, Henderson. All of these guys have run their course. It's time for a massive, huge rebuild at Liverpool. And Jurgen Klopp, as of now, I have no evidence and proof to suggest he can do it. But like what Hughie said earlier about Pep Guardiola, I still want him at the helm of a possible rebuild, and then we see how it goes from there.
I get all of that with regard to the rebuild and maybe taking things forward. What does that mean for this season? This season it can't just be a write-off. It can't just be it's unfortunate. That's not good enough.
It's not, but it's fact.
And I can't sit here and say that, you know, because of the fact that the transfers or the injuries or whatever. Look, that third goal for me was actually almost symbolic. I think it was Neves that ran straight through your heart for that third one. And
We're the easiest team. We're the easiest team. We're the easiest team to play against, and I've said it for weeks. These guys know. I've been saying it. We're the easiest team. You don't even need to have brilliant tactical plan against us. You just need physical, strong, energetic runners, and just go through us. That's how easy it is right now, and that's why I've said all those players. That spine, which was feared, and you're right. I agree with you. Your football knowledge is elite. We were feared, that we were nasty to play against. I've said it again and again and again. Now we're the opposite of that. We're so easy to play against. It's embarrassing.
So you
trust? I just think I think you are, and I think there are players who have run their course, and then there are players that you still rely on that are literally stuttering week in, week out. I saw a lot of people giving Gakpo grief after the 3-0 defeat, and listen, he's not been good on the whole for Liverpool, but I watched that game. I watched the majority of that game. There was no way on earth Gakpo was the worst attacking performer on the pitch that day. He was probably the best of all three, right? Mo Salah, you know how much time I've got for Mo Salah. This guy, I'm watching Liverpool in these games, and he is literally a non-entity. He's a non-entity. And this Nunes, brother, I've got time for Nunes because I like.
How come you starting all of your Liverpool
unsettle a defense
with a compliment?
He's not. How's he complimenting him?
You can see his energy ain't the same with the rest of the clubs. When you live, every time he speaks on Liverpool, you got a little soft little something in his chest.
No. That's rubbish. That's rubbish.
It's true. Nice facts.
Just relax.
Yeah,
just relax.
I can believe.
This Nunes guy.
Just relax.
Whenever you guys are up against him, he has moments in the game to pull you back in. Yeah, levelers, game-changing goals, and he keeps fluffing these lines over and over and over and over again. I remember when we spoke about Nunes. When we spoke about, well, you can talk about great save all you want. Grizz.
Wasn't it a great save? I'm saying great run, great pass, great save, lovely football. Football's a humbler.
You're saying football's a humbler, but he keeps doing the same thing over and over again, just smashing it straight in the middle.
He's not brilliant, Tobes. You know what my thoughts on Nunes.
All I'm saying is this, right? Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp, they made the choice to forego the midfield and instead use that 85 million on Nunes. You then said in January, let's go spend another 40 million on Gakpo. And yet I'm watching this Liverpool team and they are struggling to put the ball in the back of the net. And again, I mentioned his name already, but you're saying you know my thoughts. Speak on Mo Salah, because I don't know what is going on with Mo Salah right now. The guy actually stinks.
He is stinking at the gaff. I'm not. Look, you want me to speak on? You want me to repeat?
Liverpool.
You want me to repeat what I've said? No one is getting a way out. Only Harvey Elliott, Stefan Bejic, 18-year-olds, and the goalkeeper get a pass. Mohamed Salah is stinking out the gaff. Fabinho, I told you, innit? I told you guys, man's playing like an Uber driver. Like, he shouldn't be on a football pitch. He should have retired a long time ago. Matip, Gomez, all of these, Robertson, Trent is playing like a zombie. I'm telling you, I agree with you. But Sheroy said earlier, nah, this can't be a write-off. Where else can it be, Sheroy? Where else can it be? There's been negligence from the very top down to Jurgen Klopp, which includes the players, the coaches, everything. There's been negligence. I want to say arrogance, but negligence. Toby, I agree with you about the negligence of not spending in the midfield and spending 80 million on strikers or forwards or whatever. I agree with you. Even though we haven't got Bobby, Salah, Bobby, Jota and Diaz, who are three of our starting forwards. It's not an excuse to be 10th. I want to make that clear. It's shambolic. I laughed at the goals we conceded. There's no point crying and getting angry and frustrated and shouting and on the screen and spitting feathers. Because there's a point where you have to worry about your own health and mental health. You have to be smarter than that. All of you have been through this state. So don't act like none of you have been through it. So
yeah, but my question is, if you don't trust him with a rebuild,
Defending.
then why are you saying that he needs to be here for the rebuild? I don't understand. He's frozen now.
You know what though? Can I ask a
doesn't
question?
add up to me.
And this is the question that I wanted to probably give to GRIZZ. But
Go on,
why
say it.
should Jurgen Klopp be the kind of next person to rebuild this squad?
He's already said no. He said no.
No, but I'm just saying as a general, like, you know, because I look at this guy, he's devoid of ideas. His favoritism towards certain players is quite alarming. Tactically, I'm just looking at it and I'm thinking, it's the same game plan every game. And defensively, they're awful. Like, there's nothing to kind of help and say, right, you know what? We're going to be defensively sound, or we're going to be extra defensively cautious now. There's none of that. And this Liverpool team are just weak and spineless. And you never get that from Liverpool. Normally, they give it their all and they're tenacious and they have energy. This is probably the most unlike Liverpool I've ever seen. And this is crazy.
He already said that he doesn't feel they're good enough to rebuild.
But that's what I'm trying to say. And now, when I look at it, if FSG still say, and this is why I think era's come to an end, I think they're done. How are they going to rebuild this? They need so many midfielders. That's the first start. They ain't getting no Jude Bellingham. There's so much to do. And I'm just like, you know what? I just think it's going to all capitulate. And I'm loving it. This is what Liverpool were. And United fans, just enjoy it. Enjoy this. Because Liverpool are done.
I don't know. Listen,
I think they are.
They're done for this. They're done for this season. We don't know what's going to happen in the summer. They could get taken over. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen in the summer, right? But I feel like on the Jurgen Klopp point, listen, he's been terrible. Like, it's crazy. Managers like him and Conte, the reliable guys, they've been really, really poor at their jobs. And Jurgen Klopp has managed Liverpool terribly for large parts of this season. But for me, I think he's got the credit in the bank to try and usher in a new Liverpool. And I don't mean signing one or two players. I mean what GRIZZ mentioned, culling this team, right? They were at a point last year where they actually had a squad that was somewhat stacked. They brought in Diaz in January. They brought in Konate in the summer. But now it's become abundantly clear that a lot of these players simply cannot play the way that Jurgen Klopp needs them to play. And just at a standard, at a top 6 standard, they can't play to the level.
So let me ask this question, right? Because this is not making sense. And I was about to ask GRIZZ this before he lagged out. You're talking about making wholesale changes for one manager, or is it quicker to get rid of the manager and make a couple of changes? And if everybody's in agreement, or he said that he doesn't trust Klopp to rebuild this team, then I don't understand where we're going with this. Like, he's been there 7 years. The cycle has been brilliant. If he's not trusted to rebuild the team, and tactically people are saying that he's actually a little bit one-dimensional and he's not actually maybe as strong as he needs to be tactically, then why is everybody skirting around the obvious, which is maybe that they need to change the manager, they need to go in a new direction, and you know, who said that you have to play rock and roll football for 20 years straight?
No.
Or are we just gonna, or of course, because he's achieved so much, are you gonna get into Wenger territory where you just literally you're just gonna maximize all resources? And well, this is different because Wenger actually didn't have the money, but you're just gonna like drag it on for as long as possible and kind of just allow Klopp to almost like kick himself out of the club. Because I know I know if I was a Liverpool fan and you love Klopp that much, I'd probably rather Klopp actually walks and takes a couple of years out and then maybe comes back like does a 2.0 like a Mourinho. I'd rather.
Obviously I apologize for my Wi-Fi. Yeah. Can I just I'm probably assuming you lot want me to go into the direction of questioning Klopp and or maybe some of you have suggested while I was away that Klopp should get sacked. Is that
no?
I
I think Klopp should be looking at walking. To be honest.
Okay. Why?
Because
I don't think he's
so
because you just said he couldn't do a rebuild.
I didn't say that. I said I don't know if he can do that.
He didn't say that.
It's too premature. It's too premature.
No, hold on, Huey. This is where we unite a little bit.
I'm with you in everything you're saying.
Yeah,
absolutely,
exactly. Because these guys have come from a club culture, right? Sometimes they they go a bit OTT. And I understand it. It's Liverpool, innit? I understand it. They've come from a club culture of just sacking coaches willy-nilly, you know what I mean? A lot of big social fan media base where they just call out, sat at home, just calling out their managers. Yeah, let's change this, let's change this. They know fuck all about building clubs and cultures and legacies. Let's be honest. Let's be real.
You just said you have no evidence on Klopp to rebuild. Never rebuilt.
So what do you do?
Unless he
Wait,
actually
hold on. So
what you just said.
exactly. So no, I didn't say that. So what do you do then? So what you go by is.
I didn't say sack him, by the way. I said he should be looking to walk.
Okay.
Take a break.
If anybody has said sack him, you're talking shit. That's the first and foremost question. I'll say it to your faces and behind your back. If any of you have suggested sack Klopp,
Nobody said
you're
that.
just doing it. I'm just saying if you did, you're talking shit. Because this guy, I know what he's done for my club and where we've come from and how we've done it. So we've just spent 2 hours discussing about financial. SAEED, come back. Don't go anywhere because I need you. I need you. Don't go anywhere.
I need you.
Yeah, come back, stay. I need you to see your face when I'm talking facts. Yeah, because you came dressed. You came dressed like the Undertaker, but you ain't burying Liverpool and Klopp just like that. I know you want him gone.
Well,
I know
they buried themselves. I don't need to bury them. They buried themselves.
No.
They
In 7 seasons, if you guys really want me to jump on this brother's back and want him gone because he's had a disastrous, and I agree, he's made mistakes.
I want open honesty.
He's managed it poorly. I agree, he's made grave errors in terms of selection, tactics, even transfers. I agree, all of that. But if you want me to shit on him for a disastrous half season, hold on. If you want me, you're trying to push me towards it. I ain't that guy. You lot fucking with the wrong breed. You lot fucking with the wrong breed. You lot should know I'm not about that life.
I'm open, honest questions.
I'm a community man. Yeah, and I'm asking them with you. I'm a community man, and I'm backing my manager to pull us through. Now, if he carries on performing like this, when he's had a chance to spend the money with the new ownership and everything, because he's in a sticky position. He doesn't even know who's the owner's going to be in the next window or not, if he's going to get money, if he's going to get his players. If he stays loyal to the players that I've just cussed and dissed, if he keeps making the same mistakes and relying on youngsters playing in a big man's role like Harvey Elliott and all these mans, I will be fair and say, yes, Jurgen Klopp is not up to it. But it's the first disastrous half season in 7 years. I ain't about to shit on this guy. That's all I'm going to say.
We didn't say that. We didn't say that. We just kind of looked towards Jurgen Klopp being the next person to take over this rebuild that Liverpool are going to do.
I don't want anyone else right now. I don't want anyone else right now in charge of the rebuild.
And that's fine.
I want to give. He's got enough credit in the bank because you lot don't know what I've gone through with this team. We were this 7 years ago. So yes, we're back there after 7 years. But yes, he's brought us the Champions League and Premier League after 30 years of getting
phenomenal
slaughtered by Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United fans and Spurs. Well, not Spurs, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean? So I've been slaughtered for a year. I'm not about to shit on him after a disastrous, I admit, a disastrous half season. There's half season to go. Don't get me wrong. I'm not suddenly thinking he's going to miraculously change in half a season, but I'm definitely giving him another season. And then I'm ready to question him even more if it continues. But right now, it is what it is. It's a disastrous season.
Well, he built the original team. Like he built this team from scratch.
Hughie, he's built 3 brilliant teams at whatever level he's been at. And I'm open and I'm admitting it, he's never rebuilt the same team that he's built. And that's what the next step and stage is. Ferguson was the master at it. Even Wenger rebuilt one team, I think, didn't he, SHEROY? We know Mourinho was brilliant at it. He done it twice at Chelsea. You know, he's got to be in that category, and I'm not putting him in that category, guys. Pep Guardiola's been magnificent at it. I'm being honest with you guys. He's not in that category for me. To be in that category, he's got to show something. Okay. And if he shows something,
we're gonna move on. I think we've touched base enough on that one. It's an interesting situation. Because like I said, I don't think that necessarily is his I mean, I'm seeing him snapping a lot in presses. I don't think it's necessarily best for him to just stick it out and go through all of the roughs again and have to wait 2-3 years,
like
especially with all the money in the league at the moment. If you guys really have to get an ownership change,
it's like you ain't seen a manager snapping press conference.
No, I have, but I've seen Klopp snapping for a long time.
You seem to keep focusing on your Klopp because he's having a shit season, so he's going to snap, Matisse.
Yeah, but he's been snapping a lot.
We've seen you snap on this program.
I've seen him snap a lot.
After a little while, you give up. You want him to give up and die? No, I want him to keep snapping until he gets out of it.
All right. I never like to see loved ones.
We talked about
like
snapping, and GRIZZ snapped about 3 times while you talked about
snapping. And you've been away in the mountains for a couple of weeks, and you still snap.
You know what I mean?
Comments been chilling, bro.
People that are coming for his head, I'm snapping at them, especially Liverpool fans. I get rival fans. I get why they want Klopp gone. I get it. But if you're a Liverpool fan and you want him gone, I'm not saying don't criticize him. I've just fucking criticized him. I've said he's been disastrous. He's had a shit half season. Like, he's made bare mistakes. So I'm not saying he's faultless. I'm not saying he's immortal. He can be criticized. He can be cussed. But if you're asking him to be sacked, then I think you're deluded.
All right. Let me fly through these super chats because I am going to go through the ones that I saved here from City, the more questions, because we're going to Arsenal next. And once we go through these, we're not going to respond or anything. We're just going to go through them and make sure you really get to read them, unless there's this proper, serious, big question. Then we're going to go to Arsenal, Everton, because they also lost as well. Every time someone gets convicted of a crime in this world, but Chelsea are next. It's very true. It's very true. Hugh's basically saying he'd take his girl back if she cheated. Morals, bro. Tut, tut, tut. SAEED ain't a lawyer and GRIZZ ain't no financial guru, just both desperate to take down City. Liverpool hacked City's scouting network and failed. FFP, United are wank. That's all. Big Steve obviously getting his word as well. Hugh's memories were really just dreams and turned out into a nightmare. Chelsea next. I don't know why Chelsea keep getting involved in all these. Last ditch attempt to get City and it won't work. I'll be here when City take the PL apart in court. The tears will be glorious. Former City financial advisor Stefan Borson, if Premier League charges against the club are proven, they will be relegated uncomfortable. Okay, I'm guessing that's a quote. Sheroy, you talk some sense, but don't talk on what City fans are supposed to do. Our club, our choice, period. You just make sure Arsenal don't bottle it.
Very quickly on that. All I said was, Hugh, I can't speak for you, and City fans, I can't speak for your fan base, but this is how I would feel. That's literally all I said there. So I did word it
pretty. Yeah.
Thank you for the super chat.
All City fans are welcome to Ajax. Hey, he's settled right in. He knows exactly what time it is.
You already know.
Ajax, a real big club. Liverpool might be in the mud, but people should stop the Klopp disrespect. Don't be too quick to write him off. Think where you were realistically before he came. More chocolate money. GRIZZ. Any punishment against City won't be this season, but how this affects Arsenal City game advantage the Gunners. Thanks, Toby, for the helping hand. We're going to get to Arsenal in a minute. Sheroy, let me explain. I spoke poorly. I've not been hit up with 100 charges, but I am American, and I think we all know how many big financial and RICO cases we've had over the years. Arsenal fan here, Toes, my fellow Nigerian. Thank you for Sunday's game. You need to see how I supported Spurs. Check your DM. When Chelsea get found out, United win the double. While Tobes on this humble thing now, what happened to Chess? Where is the old Tobes? It's been slaughtered.
What? Beat Man City?
But I guess you're still not going to go with Chess after what you've seen outside of the season.
I'm a bit for the next couple of games. Don't worry.
I hear that.
I'm talking about the next couple of games we're going to talk about on this.
Yeah. Hugh, you really aren't doing enough defending City, man. There is so much you could say. These mostly uninformed lot. If I were there, I would be killing all of them with strong arguments. Everybody says
I'll keep it 100. When it comes to actual football talk, I'm talking about stuff on the pitch. I'm always happy to defend. When it comes to legalities and these kind of things, I simply am not knowledgeable enough on how this works.
I want to defend Hugh. I want to defend Hugh here. He was being honest. Bring that lawyer back. What's his name? Who's that lawyer that want to be lawyer?
That's way up.
Shut up. You could do like uninformed law. Are you stupid or something?
If they could, they would.
Like, we've just gone through what we've read from reports from footballing authorities that are taking your club to court, to the cleaners. We're not being unfair. We're not making this up. We haven't made this up. Hugh is only speaking on what he can speak on, and he's been very honest about it. So
listen, I'm just a football fan.
Yeah, of course, you're a football fan.
I go to the match. I
100%.
watch the matches. I'm not educated on these situations
100%.
and these kind of circumstances.
You
So
should have been.
I didn't want to come in with crazy chest and start saying, no, this
And
is the way it
talking
should be.
shit.
And this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
wrong,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is that.
Yeah.
Whatever
Never
you think
talk.
could be right.
Never talk about something that you don't know. That's I've always.
They just wanted they wanted a clip out of you. Sorry. Big up Chicken Royale Tobes. Eat your own words. Also, it wasn't Conte win GRIZZ. It was a new manager bounce. Conte is out for a few months. I don't know how long Conte is out in terms of recovery, but yeah,
Next game.
hopefully he gets well soon. What's the point of the goals without a trophy? Tobes, my bro, thank you for the early February gift of 2023. Arsenal was shocking against Everton on Saturday, but you deserved to beat Manchester City. SAEED is right, but at the same time, real loyalty is very, very rare in football. I mean, just check the FPF, the profiler. That is mad. That's a mad edit. Gerrard wanted to leave too, but Totti and Maldini didn't. There's a lot of loyalty in Italian clubs, it seems, but yeah. Playing 2 strikers, 2 midfielders, no pace on the wing, no Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, fullbacks, not bombing forward. What is Pep cooking? We're going to see very soon. I feel so bad for Hugh. Don't be so sad, mate. We'll be here for you if things go wrong. Come support Arsenal. It's actually fun with less trophies. I don't think you guys were quite saying the same thing all these years, but okay. Hugh, are you worried about Man United? As you need to be starting to focus on Man United, not Arsenal finishing above Man City. Uncomfortable conversations. I disagree. Who's shaking their head?
SAEED, why are you shaking your head?
Brother, I'm just, can you not just... Why are you so pressed, brother? Relax.
You see how that energy he's got for SAEED? He didn't have that energy for Liverpool.
Exactly.
You see SAEED?
Me, man.
Yeah.
Why you not got energy for Liverpool? But United is like...
Yeah, man. I'm starting to clock it. You're right, SAEED.
I buried
Cam said it as well.
Liverpool.
Cam said it in the chat. The way he speaks on Liverpool with a soft-spoken voice, like as if he's speaking.
Shut up, man.
Like his
Host the
elders
show,
and
innit?
some shit. No, I will do this because when Turkish wants to talk
Host
and
the show.
send some jibes and some digs, I'll send them. You got away with it. No, it's mad. It's all mad.
I'm gonna get this password.
You're lucky I'm not down on the bottom
Bullshit.
left. You're lucky I'm not bottom left today, man.
Oh, man. Look at you, man.
I just can't stand the arrogance of United fans these days. It's pissing me off.
What have we done to you, man? Like, we've got
What
a
do
good
you mean, what
history.
you've done to- Look at the guy sent in a super chat about you have Man City having to worry about you finishing above them, and you're shaking your head as if it's a
Bro,
real.
you're gonna get top 4. You know what I mean? There's a chance you might win a trophy. It's just all rosy.
Tobes, man. Tobes, he does this. There's no point even questioning it. It's just SAEED, man.
Let me blast through these, man. I disagree.
Yo,
I
let
think
him
Lewis
stop,
is
man. Look at it. We've got super chats to go through, man.
Yeah, I disagree. I think Lewis is a better fit for how City play, but ironically, Cancelo is much more unpredictable, which is the X factor to win the games.
So you agreed with what I said, though. You have to disagree.
The defenders and most of CMs get a fair stick. We're going to have a serious convo about Thiago's time at Liverpool. Bring him into the stand. Bring him to the stand. Listen, I saw some of them runs that weren't being tracked, man. He's not helping his young Spanish midfielder. That 18-year-old stuff.
Host the show.
I know, man. I'm just saying, man. I feel sorry for the young kid. Hugh's time is limited on the Big Six. EFL Big Six waits for you. Bro.
EFL Big Six.
Can't wait, man.
You know, we need to do that, you know. EFL Big Six.
Away, I'm buzzing.
African players ain't the only one. Players who lie about their age. Fabinho is not 29. You don't fall off that quick. He's probably 33.
Fact.
Mad. GRIZZ, stop ducking. Stop ducking me. Okay. Chelsea was investigated to the needle when they were sanctioned and nothing was found. The new owners did use amortization to spread the cost and buy contract depreciation over an amount of years. Lamps gets held accountable by everyone at Everton, but Klopp isn't at Liverpool. Imagine Barca fans sopping on Valverde and Enrique just because of the past. And the final one, rival clubs are afraid of Klopp with owners who spend like United or Chelsea. All right, cool.
You never walk alone. Why are you not reading the end bit? You never walk alone. Say it, innit? You're the host.
I let you say it. You just said it.
Do you think?
You wouldn't say "Come on, you Blues," would you, if you was hosting? All right, guys, make sure you get Turkish up to 80k, man. We're not far away. You know what I'm saying? We're not far away. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's go to Everton.
And subscribe to the Big Six channel as well.
Yeah, Big Six channel as well, guys. Let's go straight to Everton Arsenal, bro. Talk to me. You lost 1-0. Sean Dyche, first game. How are you feeling? I mean, I guess your feelings have changed maybe after what happened on Sunday. I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, to an extent. Look, we got done. We were second best. in every duel. I can't say that I didn't think we were going to win that game. I thought, regardless of the fact that they may have had new manager bounce or whatever, I thought we were going to beat them. But we weren't good enough on the day. And what really struck me is it wasn't the Sean Dyche performance that I thought it was going to be. They didn't just set up with low blocks. They were actually really, really good from the wings. They were quite adventurous. They could have had more goals in the first half. It was a bad day at the office. And that's all I'm going to put it down to. I'm not particularly worried because the only other game that we lost this season was all the way back in September. The next game then was Brentford. We won that 3-0. The next game now is Brentford. It's on to the next one. And of course, I feel like we got off the hook a bit because Man City dropped points. I mean, the only way that I can describe it is, you know, when you see that camera flash when you're speeding and you're waiting for that envelope and you think you're going to get points, but you open it open and you've got a course and you're like, all right, cool. We got away with it. We got away with that one. You know, we didn't get the severe punishment. That's exactly how I felt when City dropped points. And I think, to be honest with you, the messages coming out of the Arsenal camp after that we weren't making excuses. I didn't want to hear any of that. Oh, maybe it was a penalty. The refs have screwed Arsenal again. I'm glad we didn't hear any of that, to be honest with you. It was very much a case of, look, we weren't good enough on the day. Eddie Nketiah said the same. Saliba said the same. And I loved what came from Mikel Arteta afterwards. It's very easy to stand by this team when you're winning. It's very easy to have a lot of chest when you beat Tottenham and you beat Liverpool and you beat Chelsea and you beat Manchester United. But this team has lost. We're stronger together. We're on to the next one, and they have earned your support, right? Because one thing I could not stand was the over dramatization of the impact that this result will have on the season. I'm not saying that it couldn't. I'm not stupid enough to think that this league is done and dusted. But if I'm being perfectly honest, I can see all of the reasons why this was an anomaly. You know, I can see absolutely all of the reasons as to why this was an anomaly, and I'm sure there are a lot of people on this panel that will disagree. No, but looking at that atmosphere at Everton, right? This is a team that's been starved of results and has been playing absolute dog shit football for so long. But they're an impeccable fan base. They're an incredibly passionate fan base, and they had protests going on at the early kickoff on the Saturday. The place was a cauldron. I'm not entirely sure how many of all of our teams on this panel leave Goodison Park that day with a win or a point. If I'm being honest with you, it just looked like it was going to be one of those days, regardless of who rolled up. Now, if we then don't win at Brentford, my tone's very different. But that hasn't happened. That isn't an eventuality right now. I can only take it game by game. And if we're looking at percentages, we're looking at the way we've played, we're looking at the teams that we have dispatched, I really don't have too much cause for concern.
Guys, I don't disagree with anything you've said. As much as I want to drag Arsenal, I mean, I'll be so shameless to try and do it after one defeat. In how many games has it been? I think
you don't need to be nice because I'm new.
No, it's not even that.
If you want to cook, bring it. It's all good.
Nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. I can only be so shameless, and I'm not gonna lie. I think what you've said is spot on. I even said it on DR on the Saturday Football Show. I feel like yeah, Arsenal lost, but let's see what City do. Let's see if they actually capitalize. And I wasn't actually confident in City for the last couple of weeks. I said it to Hugh after the win against Wolves, the 3-0 win. I watched that game. I wasn't impressed with the first half, and then they obviously second half stepped it up. I haven't been impressed with City, and now all of this happening as well has only made it worse. So I really just don't. I do think it's an anomaly. I do think it's a little bit of a flash in the pan. I don't know what anyone else thinks. SAEED, you want to say?
Can I say, you know, when you see how Erik ten Hag has played strong in games, do you think the FA Cup game? And I'm not saying that it's dented the confidence, because this is an anomaly, because at the end of the day, Everton, new manager bounce, it's going to happen. But if you went strong and just kept that momentum, because I think football's all about momentum as well. Do you kind of like have any ideas it was down to momentum, or you just kind of look at this game in isolation? Because I do think, you know, Ten Hag has this momentum, and United just keep on winning in that sense. Do you think anything to do with that, or you just kind of say this is an anomaly, one game?
All I can do is look at the performances that stemmed from other cup competitions that we were in, right? We lost to PSV with a heavily rotated team, lost a bit of momentum there, but we came straight back in the league and performed. Brighton dumped us out of the Carabao Cup with a bit of rotation. Now, momentum is equally applicable in those competitions, and it didn't seem to translate into the Premier League. So, in short, no. But I mean, if it just touching on what Matisse said about City, I thought Kyle Walker's post-match interview was really telling, perhaps more telling than Pep Guardiola's. He said what everyone's been saying and all I've been hearing. He said, look, we know that we can go on a winning run from now until the end of the season. but we need to do it. And I think he sounded like he was almost now at this point. Hugh, correct me if I'm wrong, but he sounded like he was sort of trying to convince himself that this run was on the horizon. Because if there was ever a time for you to go on that run, it was when you've just dumped us out.
It was right now,
and we've just lost a game that you didn't think we'd lose. People would have understood if Manchester United beat us at the Emirates. People would have understood if we lost the North London derby against Tottenham. No one really expected us to lose this one, and we did. This is when the Manchester City of old has your foot on our neck, and it did not happen. It's just one game less for you to start that run now, and this is why when people talk about that City side and the predatory nature of that City side and the fact that they hunted down that Liverpool team, I understand that, but I'm reluctant now to refer to this City team as that City side, because as GRIZZ alluded to earlier, you did have Zinchenko, you did have Jesus, you did have Cancelo. KDB wasn't on the bench. If you're going to say this is a transitional season, Hugh, I'm not going to sit here and disagree with you, but I am also going to say that you being in transition does make it far less likely for you to go on that blitzing run, and that I think is fair.
I listen. I said on the last show before, or the preview for this weekend, I said I believe we can go on to win the league. I believe we still can go on to win the league, but I'm not going to say we're going to win the league, and I'm not for 1 second going to say we are going to go on one of these mad runs that people have come to expect from us, because I need to see more. Like, I think this is, whilst it's obviously bad to lose the game, I think it's actually a massive psychological blow for the exact reason you mentioned. It was a massive opportunity to capitalize, build that momentum that Saeed's talking about, because I'm a massive believer that momentum is the biggest factor in winning any league competition. 38 games, you need to build momentum. And I said it about your cup game. I said, I think it is a mistake throwing that or playing your B team, etc., because I think carrying momentum from competition to competition, I have found over the years, is absolutely massive in going for the overall goal. So listen, it's a psychological blow for us. And like I said, I still think we can win it, but it's going to be hard. I think if we're going to do it, we have to go to the Emirates now on the 15th and we have to win. But you don't know. You just don't know what City. We talk about City of old. It is City of old versus City of new. It's a completely different mentality, completely different circumstances. So, look, it is what it is.
Very, very quickly, one thing I do want to say. I saw SAEED getting a lot of heat to when he was nodding along about the notion that Manchester City need to look at Manchester United. I'm not here to bullshit just because I'm on a rival fan platform. Generally, I started looking at Manchester United when I looked at the table again. They're only 3 points behind Manchester City, and we have to play Manchester City twice. Manchester United have played both of us twice. They now have Leeds back to back. If I'm not mistaken, if you win both of those games, don't you go ahead of Man City? Optically, that's not necessarily the easiest thing to overcome. I don't like the fact that people are calling this a two-horse race. I don't like it at all. I think it's actually naive. If people are going to say that there's no way Arsenal can have the league wrapped up in February because we're only at the halfway stage, I don't think you can suddenly say, well, Man U are that far off the pace either if they're only 3 points behind City, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Great point, Shore. So we want to hear it from SAEED, because 1 week we're hearing experiment, then the other week we're hearing one game at a time from Cam to the comments. So we want to hear
have a break. Super chat break, Matisse, is it?
No, do you know what? I've got the super chats, but there's only.
So we want to hear it from you.
Yeah, I want to hear this because you've been dancing.
What we're here to hear, like what are we hearing?
No, okay. So let me break it down for you, right? Let me break it down. For
you're nasty, man.
You said that you're not in a title race, and this season's all about top four, and that you're gonna look to win a trophy. Then you came onto the cusp of a potential title race, and you obviously beat Manchester City. You won the Manchester derby. You then said you're in a title race. You got Palace.
I didn't say we're in a title race. Go on.
Oh, sorry, you're testing the waters, right?
Testing the waters, yeah.
And testing the waters, and you're going to beat Arsenal. Then obviously Casemiro done what he done. He's now suspended again. And then you said, okay, after the Arsenal game, you're not in a title race anymore, and everything, or they're not testing the waters anymore. Sorry. And,
what are you saying? He's a flip flop.
So are you back to what?
I would never say
blah 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 blah.
I'll ask it a different way. Are you shocked of admitting that you might be in a title race? Is that what it is? Are you scared of admitting that you might be in a title race?
No, I'm not admitting anything. Technically, obviously, mathematically, Tottenham are in a title race. So that question can be so.
You are a nasty.
Too much. Let me just.
are a
Let me.
nasty piece of work.
Can you let me finish?
Now let me finish. Let me finish.
Top
Brother,
minor,
I'm
top
not here, man.
You are a nasty piece of work. I rest
Look
my
at this
case.
guy.
I rest my
Relax
case.
yourself.
That's
Put your dressing
crazy.
gown on properly. Put your dressing gown on
That's
properly.
crazy. That's
Put your
crazy.
dressing gown on
You're a
properly.
nasty piece of
Right.
work.
Right. Let me just address the honourable gentleman, Mr. SHEROY. For me, the testing of waters has ended, and for me, we're just taking it game by game. That's all we're doing. The next game is Leeds. We need to win that one. We go for that game. Right now, Man United are just doing what they're supposed to do and getting on to the next 3 points. For me, I don't think we can win the title race. We can win the title. That's just my opinion.
Did
Right now,
Cams have a word with you about this game by game
No,
thing?
I don't think so, because I've been kicked out of the lab. I've got a new job now. Can you not see? You know what I mean? I've got a new job.
I hear it.
You know what I mean? What's a job that's serious that you need to? You know what I mean? Maybe I'm a solicitor now. I'm a solicitor. So I have to be careful with my job. And you know what I mean? I've just come out. It's a long shift today. And they just told me to be very cautious. So I've got a lot of paperwork to do. So yeah, man, I'm just relaxing. I'm enjoying Man United. And I think you lot try to bash Man United and not let us enjoy it. Why can't Man United enjoy it? Like, why do we always have to have?
Because you did the whole spiel about eras coming to an end. If our eras come to an end and you've overtaken us, in theory, you're in a title race with Arsenal as well. It's a 3-horse race.
Eras come to an end in the case of.
If Liverpool are finished, then you guys are back. Then
Matisse, let me ask him because you know. So if our eras come to an end and City's eras come to an end, are you basically inadvertently you're saying your era started? Are you saying your era started now?
Kind of technically it's started because we're on a roll. We're hoping to get through some trophies this season. You know, we're possibly going to finish above certain teams. So yeah, our era is starting. The Ten Hag era is starting. So I'm sorry.
So that's why we want to build you.
Again,
so hold on. Let me flow. Hold on. This is where you single on SAEED. This is where Skull.
No, I haven't finished. You haven't let me finish.
I want you to finish. No. I'm going to give you the platform now because this is what
it doesn't mean that you
now speak.
I can then say we're going to win the league. No, it just means that the Ten Hag era.
Your era started. The Ten Hag era started.
Ten Hag era is started, of course. Technically, it started. So you know, let it marinate. Let it marinate.
We got him.
I'm not asking you if you're going to win the league.
I don't understand where you mean we got it. The Ten Hag era has started.
I'm not asking you if you're going to win the league. I'm not saying we're going to win the league. I'm not saying City are going to win the league. But I think you and I would admit that we're in a title race. My question is, why can't you? When we were at the top of the league for a while and City were on our ass, all I was hearing is why are Arsenal fans so scared to admit they're in a title?
You know, well, yeah.
All I heard was why are Arsenal fans so scared to admit they're in a title race? Now we've almost been forced to admit it.
We've only got to that.
I heard Culture Cams was saying this, but I'm questioning why Man United fans are scared to admit that they.
No. Because you know why? We've just got to that question now. I'm sure we were dodging that question about Arsenal for months and months. It's just so all of a sudden.
It wasn't just now. It was after the Manchester Derby win. No.
It wasn't. And that's only 2-3 weeks ago, if that. So. For me, I think United are just building momentum and let Man United do that. Let us enjoy that. And for me, it's still 8 points. It's still a lot of situations that could happen. We just have to build it game by game. I don't think as a Man United fan, we can look too far ahead.
Why can you not let us enjoy it? When we finished outside of the top 4 last year, everyone was saying, man, you're going to have a tough time getting back into those Champions League places. Now we're sitting at the top of the league ahead of City and we're suddenly in a title race and we've got to feel the pressure. But you guys have to be able to enjoy it. Yeah, come on now, man. That's a double standard.
No. I have stepped off Arsenal. Go on, Toby. Say anything.
No. I've
stepped off Arsenal. Arsenal have set the standard. Arsenal have set the standard through consistency and have got to this level where they are top of the league consistency. Man United have done that, but not to the extent of what Arsenal are doing. So until Man United do that, that's when we can say later on down the line, maybe United are in a title race. But right now, we're still building momentum. So to kind of say that United are title contenders, I think it's too premature. For me, it's premature. United still have to build. Leeds at home, Leeds away, and then we go forth from there. Listen, I've been kicked out of the lab, guys. I'm not allowed in.
I was just checking to see if you were still mixing.
No, man. Listen, I've got a new job.
Out of the lab because you're a mad scientist. Shut up, man. That's why you've been kicked out of the lab.
So that's what I'm saying. I've got a new job. So I'm a solicitor now.
But
You know?
are you happy with your win? I mean, obviously the only
Yeah,
negative
yeah,
is
I'm happy.
Casemiro, isn't it? Do you I don't know. Are you guys bothered about? Obviously, Rashford scored a great goal as well. Are you bothered about Casemiro at all with the?
Nah, I am bothered because it's still a big blow in it.
Oh,
World class
come on,
player,
man. You're playing Leeds United twice, bottom of the table, no manager, no
No,
nothing.
you know why, Grizz? No, the banner
So
aside,
lucky.
it's
You
still.
got life, man. You got life.
Nah, I don't think it is, man. I don't think it is because you got to remember we don't have a natural CDM. Sabitzer is not a CDM, and nor Fred is, and we've only got them two plus Kobe Mino and Zidane Iqbal. The depth in that midfield is still for any club. It's still hard to deal with.
McTominay,
You know what I
man,
mean?
solid outfit.
McTominay, he's not fit.
Solid.
He's not fit.
He is fit, man.
But he's not fit. He's not fit. He's injured. So we don't have him available. So that's the reason why I think it still will be a blow. And Leeds will press and they'll do what the Leeds do. But it is still a blow. But I still think because of the way we built momentum and our defense is probably not talked about enough, man. Lisandro Martinez and Varane have been two absolute monsters. Like we always talk about Saliba and Gabriel, and rightly so, the top of the league. But listen, I think we need to start putting praise on Lisandro Martinez, Varane this season, man. They've been absolute. Apart from the 6-3, apart from that, they've been immense. Like Lisandro Martinez.
Shut up, man. Let's wrap it up.
You don't like it, do you? You don't like it?
No. He's right.
No, you know what? We're building momentum, and I think when I said after the Arsenal game, and I said United are built different, and people were laughing at me saying, "Oh, he's going to start crying against United again." Since then, like one loss at home, that's Brighton. At home, we've just been relentless. I think the team mentality now is just not to give in, and I think Ten Hag has imprinted a steelness about Man United, and I just think right now we're doing things differently. You can see Ten Hag has made a huge effect on this Man United team. Like honestly, man, he's making my life amazing right now. And I can't, and like I said, we've got so much to look forward to this season. And may it continue, man. Long may it continue.
I think with United as well, I actually agree. I think you have to give Ten Hag credit. Like I saw some stat the other day, and I know obviously you've played a couple of cup games and stuff, but when you compare how easy it's been for teams to come to Old Trafford and get 3 points in recent years, I saw that you've won 13 games on the bounce at home like that. That's incredible when you compare what Man United used to be, like even just as recent as last season. Lisandro's a beast, man. I saw his block against Eze on the weekend. Fantastic block. I think him and Varane, that's the benefit of having the partnership, right? Like Varane looked a little bit out of sorts last year, right? And I feel like Lisandro coming into the team has helped him sort of reinvigorate his quality as a player, right? And I also think Marcus Rashford, what he's doing at the moment is an absolute joke. It's a joke. He keeps scoring. I think it's how many games he scored in a row for United? I can't even remember.
It's crazy. Like he scored more goals than Chelsea and Liverpool combined since the turn of the year.
Can I ask you to admit that you was wrong about Rashford? Because me and you done a stream on your show.
I'm happy to be wrong. There's a difference in it.
I'm about to say it, innit? I want you to say it. I'm about to say it. Say that.
If it makes you feel better, then yeah, I'm happy.
Like, then again,
let's not have this.
I'm just talking about flip-flopping, innit? Flip-flop.
It's not flip-flopping. No, hold on. There's a difference between
you said Rashford will never GRIZZ allow Rashford.
No, I said Rashford tell him in the summer.
He's not going to be back. I said Rashford will be back. Did I say that?
No, but again, you said McTominay is unbelievable.
But I was baiting you, McTominay.
So there you go then. So some things you get right, some things you get wrong. That's part of being a fan, and I'm open to admitting.
Okay, you got me on the McTominay.
But there you go then, innit? So that's what a Rashford fan is. I'm open to being proved wrong. Like I'm a fan.
You're badly wrong.
Player wrong. It's then having an agenda saying no matter what, I still don't like this player. Like Rashford
and Martial. Can we stop this? Yeah, how about Martial as well?
Martial, we don't need to talk about that. I think for me, because you know why?
We don't have time. Let's focus on the win. 2-1 against Palace. Let's focus on the players that played. Rashford's goal was great. The team goal was unbelievable. Some of the best football I've seen this season. I don't know about the rest of you lot. That team goal was nuts. I think it deserves a lot of credit. Garnacho as well. After Sancho and Anthony, obviously they've had their different moments this season of going through it. Garnacho, you have to give credit to the kid. He's involved. He's
He's
involved.
involved. You know what I mean? Obviously, he got subbed off, but again, that was for tactical reasons. Sabitzer had a sharp cameo. You know what I mean? I thought he was very, very lively, tenacious guy. You know what I mean? So I think he had a sharp cameo. I think Weghorst, I know he's not scoring prolifically, but if you look at what he's giving us and his impact, like the way he's helping us press from the front, I think it's evident to see. I know you're going to say smelly, but I think what he's doing off the ball, you know what I mean? And again, off the ball hype, yeah, I understand that, but he is giving a different dynamic to our attack. But yeah, listen, we're rolling on Leeds. I don't know what manager bounce will happen. You know what I mean? It depends what goes on with there, but we're hoping to get 6 points out of 6, and we keep moving on.
They ain't got a manager. What are you not talking about this new manager bounce? They have not got a new manager.
But you know what it is? It's not new manager bounce, but it's new kind of life. Like they have to still prove now. Like it's not the manager anymore. So is it the players now? So then all the fans are going to look at the players now. So what's going on now? What's the excuse? So I think then they will start to kind of, give something and give a lot more. So that's the only reason kind of added pressure with that one, isn't it? So we'll see.
Industry.
Chelsea. Well, actually, no. Let's go United Leeds predictions. Obviously, they play on Wednesday night, isn't it? Wednesday night. SAEED, to start with you. United Leeds. Prediction.
I'm going to go with United to win. I'm going to go with another 3-1.
Okay. GRIZZ, bro, what's your prediction?
Where is it? The first one?
Old Trafford.
Oh, the first one's at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Then the
3-0. 3-0.
Jesus. Tobes, what about you, bro?
I'm gonna go 3-1 as well.
Okay.
Right, I'll come back. You still copying me, your Tobes?
SHEROY, what about you, bro?
I'll probably go 2-0.
2-0. I'm gonna go 3-0. Hugh, what about you?
3-1.
Okay. That's all the United predictions in. I think that's the only game this week. I'm gonna make it very simple. It's up to you guys. You want to ask me questions on Chelsea, or we want to wrap this up?
See, this is long, man. Like, how did you, after 2 hours 11 minutes, give yourself? I'm gonna have words of
no.
Right now.
Let me be honest. Let me be honest.
Man, this is
it was 0-0.
No. I need investigation. I need investigation.
The super chats in the beginning took about 25 minutes, and also remember the Man City.
How are we talking?
The Man City.
600 million.
Man City decided to break the rules.
and we're no, man. We need
Man City. It's not my fault. Man City got 2
investigations
different
right now.
Man City had a game and they broke the rules. It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
600 million pounds spent, and you haven't scored in your last 3 games.
Is that true? We didn't score against you guys. We didn't score against Fulham. What was the game?
Oh, you didn't beat us. We're the worst team in the league, and you didn't beat us. It's just embarrassing.
Yeah, it is embarrassing. I said it at the time.
True.
We should have beaten you.
How can you not beat us?
Yeah, I know it's embarrassing, bro.
And then you got Fulham, and then everyone was hyping up Chelsea going to do this. Enzo, Fulham should have won. I saw the game. Please tell me Fulham didn't deserve to win that game.
It was an even game. Either team could have won. I mean, we had our chances as well.
They were poor. They were toothless up front. Fulham.
It's
Havertz,
more time should have been spent, but I agree.
It's Kai Havertz.
Roy, please speak on it. Because if it's me, don't say it's agenda. Please.
Kai Havertz, every single crucial chance pretty much fell to him, and he wasn't good enough. And these are chances that honestly I would expect a 50. I'd expect Weghorst to be putting these away, and they didn't pay anywhere near the amount of money.
Calma. Don't spoil your debut, brother.
Oh, it's the truth. They didn't pay anywhere near the amount of money for Weghorst.
Allow Weghorst, man. Allow Weghorst, man.
I don't say allow Weghorst. He's right.
No. Weghorst is bum, man. Don't talk about Weghorst, man. Just because he's free, he's getting a free ride.
But Kai Havertz, to illustrate how bad Kai Havertz was.
I get that point.
And separately, I'm not going to jump to conclusions on Enzo because I also think he's a bad boy player. But on the day, I think Palhinha looked better. On the day, I genuinely think Palhinha looked better. He was very impressive.
Palhinha was class.
But can I ask, Matisse, has your expectations, objectives? Because 3 weeks ago, you basically cried on the stream that but your footballing life is over for the season. You was distraught. You didn't know which direction to look in. Has spending all this money, has it changed your objectives 3 weeks later? I know we haven't spoken in a couple of weeks. So what's your objectives and what's your aspirations for the rest of the season right now? We need to hear it. Face the camera.
My objectives is to win the next game, my brother. We haven't
you're lightweight.
My objective is to win the next game. And then long term, I would hope that this team finish ahead of Brentford, Brighton, Fulham, Liverpool. That would be the bare minimum. They should really even be knocking on Tottenham's door, but we have
Tobes,
to
are you listening to this?
We have to
They
walk
spent
before we
600
can
million
run.
and they're looking to finish above
We heard
Brentford
this
and
last
Liverpool.
Well, we have to, bro. We just
I
lost.
told
We
them
just
last week. There's nothing more I can say on this.
we just lost points to them this week again. So
You must.
You must, No context as well.
Are you still on this 40 points vibe and
bro,
after that?
I told Liverpool fans to get on the bandwagon already. Need to hit the 40 points.
We've discussed Liverpool.
Yeah, I know.
We've discussed it. We've discussed it.
You guys still thought you were in a top 4 race, so that's what I'm being saying.
No, man. That was me, man. I was being delusional, man. I need you to tell me, are you really looking to finish above Brentford after spending 600 million? That's your aspiration.
It's not an aspiration. It's an expectation. It's not aspiration. I'm not going to celebrate it. I'm not going to say.
I can't believe you just sat there and said, I want to finish above Brentford.
Well, bro, we're behind them, aren't we? So I have to respect the teams ahead of us. The problem is with you guys is that you're too disrespectful to Brentford, to Brighton, and to Fulham. Fulham just came to our stadium and took a point. Brighton just won at the weekend, and Brentford just won again. So I have to walk before I can run. Why am I going to disrespect these teams that have been playing well all season? That we're still not ahead of.
Because you've shown
disrespect.
Because you've shown disrespect to the league by spending 600 million. Where's the fuck's your respect then?
Hey,
how are you respecting?
If you got it, flaunt it, baby. If you got it, flaunt it, baby. What do you want from me?
Well,
if you had the money, if you had the money, you would spend it. If Tobes had the money, he would spend it. If
I agree,
he would spend it.
I agree, but then I come with chest. Yeah, but I would come with chest and then say, "Yo, we just
you can't have
600
chest." Hold on, let me finish. No, because this is the Chelsea segment. You always got so. Hold on a second, let me finish. You always got so much to say when it's Chelsea segment. So you always talking too much on Chelsea segment. All the time when Chelsea segment comes.
He's allowed to. He's allowed to.
But can I speak?
He's allowed to.
You asked me the question, so can I speak? Can I speak? Because you're asking me, right?
Well, you're a host today. You're a host today.
No, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
You're a host. Host the show.
Host hype. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Shout out Cams. I don't want to hear it. Listen. Regardless of how much money you spent, how many times have we seen before? Money doesn't buy success. Man City still can't get the Champions League. Man United haven't won a trophy in 5 years. Just because we've spent money on young players, by the way, who are going to have to acclimatize, develop, or we're just going to pretend like we've bought ready-made winners. Why am I going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, we're going to go and win it all now. We're going to go and do this, do that, do that. No, I'm not going to do that. These players are young players. Madueke's a young player. Mudryk is a young player. Every young player that comes into this panel, Anthony gets time. Sancho gets time. Man, all of these. Hold on, no. Let me land. Because you guys are not being objective. You guys are working off agenda. Because you're like, oh, you guys spent loads of money, so now I expect this, that, and the third. Nunes. GRIZZ is sitting on this panel pleading he should get time. Gakpo should get time. So why now should I be demanding? Hold on. Why should I now be demanding that Madueke, Mudryk, Enzo at 22, all these guys should just come in and we should just finish fourth?
Why are you saying their ages? Why are you stressing on their ages?
Because that's the game you guys like to play. That's the game you guys like to play. So what I'm gonna do, Tobes, hold on, is I'm gonna expect a style of play to be implemented. I'm going to expect us to play from back to front properly. I'm going to expect better results, massive change in results. And I'm going to see where that gets us. But I can't sit here and tell you I expect top 4.
600 million and he wants to identity.
Can I ask you a question?
He's asking for identity after spending 600 million.
So what should I ask for, GRIZZ? What should I ask for? Should I ask for World Cup?
This is now I know why Toby used to call you something chest. Chicken chest. Tobes, what did you say about his chest?
He's got pigeon chest. But can I ask you a question?
Pigeon chest, man.
You're talking to the guy that went to a cup final and said that his team had already lost. He sat on that sofa and he said his team has already lost. And you're talking about this guy for chest. Don't play with me. This brother turned up, rocked up to a watch-along for a cup final. He rocked up to a watch-along for a cup final and said his team's lost before the game was even kicked, before the ball was even kicked. I don't want to hear chest about this guy. Focus on you stay in the gym. All right, you stay in the gym.
It's called being real, and that's something that you are not. When it comes to Chelsea, you have.
This is being real. This is being very real.
When it comes to Chelsea, you usually have these Chelsea tinted glasses, and now all of a sudden, when you spent the mega bucks, now you want to be real. Now you want to apply context. Chelsea are the first team in history now where I'm hearing no expectation being placed after heavy spend.
I wonder why that is.
Any other team, there'll be expectation placed. Now, the question I wanted to ask you.
Hold on.
When Haaland signed to Hugh, in fact, let me ask you, Hugh, how old is Haaland?
22.
22 years old. 22 years old. Oh, interesting. When Haaland signed for Man City, what was your expectation, Matisse?
Are we going to compare? Are we comparing Mudryk to a generational striker?
Answer my question. When Haaland signed for Man City, What was your expectation for Man City?
What was my expectation for? Hold on, yeah. What was my expectation for Haaland?
What was the one thing you said?
Hold on. What was my expectation for Haaland coming into a title-winning team with De Bruyne at his peak, Bernardo Silva, Mahrez? What was my expectation? You stupid boy! You stupid boy! Ask me dumb questions. Ask me dumb questions.
You told Hugh.
Please, can you respect your guest, please, Matisse?
No, I'm gonna respect my guest. I'm a temporary host.
That's what you said.
Can you respect us, please?
No, you said to Hugh,
we'll refuse to come on next week if you're going to react like this.
Signing Haaland, it's a failure. So now, when people are putting expectation on Chelsea after spending 280-something million in August, by the end of August, and then spending like a further 300 odd or 350 odd million in January, how dare you come here and say,
how dare you?
How dare you? I don't want to hear about any of these. Because these players, they carry a premium for a reason. These aren't normal 21-year-olds. They carry a premium for a reason. They carry a premium for a reason. So respectfully, I don't want to hear this, oh, we have to look above Brentford. No, one player that you're saying Mudryk carries one player.
I didn't even know who Mudryk was 3 months ago. What are you talking about?
One player in Enzo that probably costs more than Fulham's entire squad.
Enzo's the one player that you're going to pick out,
so please,
and you're actually going to tell me comes with
World Cup winner Enzo.
Mudryk, hold on a second. Please. Mudryk was, hold on a second. Let me land. Enzo is the only player. Enzo is the only player, and I want to hear Sheroy's opinion on this. Enzo is the only player that you can put a massive weight of expectation. Mudryk, I told you on this show, I didn't even know who Mudryk was a month ago. Mudryk was going to go on. Hold on a second. Mudryk, hold on. Let me land, Saeed. Mudryk was going to go onto the bench to be behind Martinelli, right? Madueke, expectation, give it a rest. Badiashile, expectation, give it a rest. Felix is a loan deal, cool, expectation. Felix and Enzo, you can put some expectation on, 2 players. The rest of them are all young players coming into the team. And it's so funny that you guys are saying that Chelsea fans now need to demand success immediately. But yet you're the same people that say that Chelsea fans need to stop being so spoiled and should learn to trust the process and be patient. So now when Chelsea fans actually try to be patient and calm down, you guys want to hype up.
It's unprecedented.
You guys are hypocrites.
Trust the process, bollocks. What are you talking about?
Hypocrites.
What are you talking about?
Very, very aggressive, man. Very aggressive.
I'm going to use the Arsenal example. I want to use the Arsenal example very quickly. Look, when Arsenal spent 150 million in a window and then 150 million in another window, no one gave a shit that we spent it on 6 players, none of whom individually were anywhere near the value of the signings that you brought in. You have now spent at least twice that in the space of 12 months. Whereas throughout that period, we were told that top 4 was a bare minimum by you.
Thank you. Lawyer, speak, lawyer.
Thank you.
We're holding you.
This guy has been chatting shit on your club.
Yeah, but the only issue here is when we're setting standards for Arsenal.
Let him finish. Host, let him finish.
Yeah, we're debating it.
The only issue by the reaction, I think I did.
No. Don't. Listen, I love you, brother, but let's not overgas it right now.
No, he's not overgassing it.
Hold on. When we set the these guys are all doing cheerleader shit. Let's talk.
No, we're not doing shit.
When we do expectations for Arsenal, that starts from the beginning of the season, right? My expectation for Chelsea at the start of next season will be vastly different from my expectation now. You can't tell me.
I'm about to kill you.
Hold on. You can't tell me midway through a season on 30 points that I have to have massive expectations when my team is on 30 points. What do you expect me to say? What do you expect me to say?
Finish your food, man.
No.
We were midway through the season.
No.
Did the season just start in January? Huh?
Toby.
You finish your food, man. Why are you talking with your mouth?
Oh my God, they're not going to speak.
You've been called red-handed. You are a disgrace. Arsenal
Toby.
spent 150 million and your expectation was top 4. Stop pretending that the money you spent in January, one sec, Grizz. Stop pretending that the money you spent in January isn't enough to make up the gap. You have spent big for a reason. Yes, we know that you have aspirations to be a super team in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time. That's why you signed the young G's. But you've committed this outlay in January for a reason.
My food's getting cold. Let me just quickly say
that level.
You guys tell me what my expectations should be. Tell me.
Matisse.
You're very nasty, guys. You're very disingenuous.
Sheroy won't know. The rest of you brothers, listen to me very carefully. Look what he just said there. He's talking about expectations. Do you remember last season how we cooked
Arsenal.
when we were speaking about Arsenal and how expectations are supposed to change? You can change according to the season, according to the time.
Exactly. Yes.
HUGH, SAEED, do you remember? That was his main game. Oh, you can change your expectations. You can change your
exactly
targets.
what's happening.
You
That's
can
not
change
running
it.
now. That's not
Shut
running
up your
now.
mouth.
What's happening now? What are you talking about? You donkey.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, you donkey? My expectations at the start of the season.
Look how aggressive he's getting. He's calling the
change.
man a donkey.
Let me be host. Get off the host.
Change the host, man.
Let me be host.
I'm offended. He called me a donkey.
Hold on a second. Let's deep it.
Let me host.
Let's deep it.
How is this hosting? What kind of host is this? I'm hosting.
Everybody heckle, man.
I'm emailing Turkish right now.
Run this. Well, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Don't
Expectations change. Expectations change during the season.
get McIntyre on the box.
At the start of the season, my expectation was top 4 minimum. That's what I said. That's what I predicted. Top 4 minimum, right?
Yeah.
So in mid-season, I've had to change my expectations because we're on 30 points. What is wrong with that?
What's wrong with that is you've then added a further 300 million to your damn squad. That's what the fuck is wrong with it.
Bro, it doesn't matter if we added 300 million. It doesn't change anything.
You said what's wrong with that? So I'm answering your question.
It does.
What's wrong with that is you have literally added a further 350 million pound worth of players to your squad, and you're chasing down an out of sorts Spurs, a Newcastle team who looks solid defensively but don't have
The worst Liverpool ever.
What's Spurs doing, man? Bro, if the worst Liverpool ever is not even involved in this conversation.
A Man United team who are resurgent but don't have the level of depth that you have in your squad. So you have the capacity. You have the capacity to chase these.
I hear that, but do you know what the big problem is here?
Simple.
Do you want to know what the big problem is here? The manager is Graham Potter. It's not Thomas Tuchel. It's not a manager. It's not an elite manager. So hold on a second. Hold on a second. Yeah, his manager is Arteta. Yeah, but you
haven't managed before.
Yeah, I hear that. Your manager's Arteta. Your manager's standard. Yeah, I hear that. But also with my manager, I don't know where I rank my manager yet. I'm just literally trying to see what he can do. I don't know if this manager's good enough, do I? Did I come here and tell you, oh, Graham Potter's... Did I even tell you that Tuchel should have been sacked? Or was it all of you that was telling me Tuchel should have been sacked? I told you already, I didn't even want Tuchel sacked when he was sacked. I'm now looking at Graham Potter and I'm going to see what he does. What do you want me to do with Graham Potter? What do you want me to say? Do you want me to say, oh yeah, Graham Potter, you absolutely have to make top 4. If you don't make top 4, I'm going to sack you. I'm going to give Graham Potter a whole season.
None of that equates to spending enough money to buy a small private island and then talking about fighting relegation, my friend. That's where the problem lies. Yeah, that's where the problem lies. That's all it is.
Speak, brother lawyer, speak.
That's the point. Yep. And I think that's what everyone's getting at. I think that's why people are wondering why the aim is not, what was it, finish above Brentford. I mean, they're knocking about in 7th right now. I think with the amount of money...
to just come with the chest.
You don't really not see any sense in this, Matisse. Surely to God. You're playing dumb here.
I'm not.
You are
aggressive, very aggressive.
If this was Manchester City or Manchester United, you'd be saying that's not good enough.
100%.
My brother, the season's halfway through. We haven't won back-to-back games.
Objectives can change based on circumstances. That's the overall point.
That's what he's been talking about other clubs.
Extraordinary circumstances are taking place at Chelsea, which altered your objective. They have to alter your objectives. It's different.
The problem with you guys is you're only looking at the money spent and you're not looking at who the hell the players are. That's your problem. That's your actual issue. If
they're not nobodies.
No, listen to me.
Please.
You just listen to me. If the players that were brought in were for instant success and they were ready to perform now, if we had signed Declan Rice and Harry Kane, obviously my conversation would be different. But these players are not instant players. So I'm not expecting them instantly to be good and to hit the ground running. And therefore, I'm not expecting us to instantly hit form. I'm expecting us to improve and to be better. But I'm not expecting us to make this 10-game winning streak run. I'm just not expecting it. It's as simple as that. But unfortunately for you guys, all you see is money, money, money. But you don't want to look at who's actually been purchased.
Is Mudryk a starter?
Huh?
Is Mudryk a starter for Chelsea?
Mudryk is a starter.
Is Mudryk going to be a starter for Chelsea?
I don't know, bro. Pulisic is there. Sterling is there. I don't know, bro.
Is Enzo going to be a starter? That's it.
Enzo's going to be a starter. Enzo and Felix. What I just told you.
Is Badiashile already starting? Yes.
Cool.
3 starters added to your squad.
Cool.
3 starters, not squaddies, 3 starters. And we're seeing this Brazilian youth that's ripping it up at the under-20s. He's coming in to compete.
He's 18.
Noni Madueke, you said yourself, ZX.
Give it a rest. He's 18 years old. Stop it. You're doing too much.
Noni's coming in. And
doing way
then
too much. Man just
Badashile's the starter.
I'm not saying I'm doing too much. Reece James is back fit.
You just mentioned the 18-year-old from under 20s of Brazil you've never watched.
Chilwell is back fit, right? Sterling is back fit. We are seeing some of your players come back in, and then you sign new players on top of that. Don't you dare come here and say that we're not applying context or we're not being fair. We are being fair. There's no way on earth, and this is not exclusive to Chelsea, because this energy would be applied for any team that have spent the amount you guys have spent and have added the amount of quality you've added to your squad. I don't care who the manager is. These players are good enough. These players, all those players that you said they're young, etc., yeah. Right now, Mudryk starts at Liverpool. Enzo starts at Liverpool. Badiashile would right now, when Van Dijk is in, just
starts at Liverpool. No, I'm saying it.
Because you're taking Liverpool on form. You're taking Liverpool on form. This is the same Liverpool that was in everybody's combined 11s last season.
All of these players that you said, around 80% of them are starting at the clubs that you're competing with.
Brother, Liverpool are shit right now. Why are you bringing Liverpool?
You didn't score against us.
Liverpool are 10th.
You didn't score against us.
Liverpool are 10th. Why are you talking about Liverpool starting 11?
You didn't beat us though.
Talk about your starting 11. Talk about the teams we're actually competing with for top 4. Why are you talking about Liverpool starting 11?
What are you talking about?
Why are you saying this player gets into Liverpool starting 11? Bloody anybody gets into Liverpool starting 11. They're 10th.
Bro, you're clearly
using Liverpool as an example.
You're either deaf or you're just angry, because I clearly said these same players that you're saying
I think it's both.
Would start at the teams that you're competing.
Don't mention Liverpool then. Don't mention Liverpool.
Why can't
I told you already.
Liverpool?
I expect to finish ahead of Liverpool.
I didn't mention Liverpool. I said Spurs as well.
You did mention Liverpool. Don't lie. You just said Van Dijk, and you just said
I didn't just mention Liverpool. I said
okay, but don't mention Liverpool at all. Don't mention Liverpool at all.
I am going to mention Liverpool.
Why?
I just said I expect to finish ahead of Liverpool.
You can get
it hurts when Liverpool.
I didn't know because I just said I expect to finish ahead of Liverpool. So why are you bringing up Liverpool then?
Let's talk Newcastle then.
Talk Newcastle then.
Does Enzo start at Newcastle?
Yes.
Yes. Does Mudryk start at Newcastle? Yes. Yes, he fucking starts at Newcastle. So don't give me no bullshit, bro. Does Enzo start at Spurs? Yes. Does Badiashile start at Spurs? Yes. Don't give me no fucking bullshit.
No. Look at the time.
No. Because obviously,
look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Don't chat shit. Look
at this guy.
He's got a point though. Toby's got a point.
Real.
Toby's got bad points.
Look at the caliber of players we are talking about.
These young players all walk into these teams and no, hold on a second. This is Toby's point. These young players all walk into these teams. Same for Sancho and Anthony, right? Who are showing inconsistency in first and second year. These young players all walk into these teams and they just start performing, Tobes, don't they? They just start performing. Instantly, but they're all instant impact players, right? So they're going to walk into all these teams, and we're not going to see any inconsistency. We're not going to see any acclimatizing to the Premier League. All of these young players. Well, hold on. No, let me land. All of these young players are just going to walk into the Premier League all of a sudden, and they're just going to just hit like lightning. Not Nunes, who's struggling to finish. Not Gakpo, who's struggling.
Don't mention Liverpool, but you're being hypocrite.
No. Hold on a second. Because they're all in the same age group.
Stop mentioning Liverpool.
Hold on, no. They've all got the same. They're all in the same age group, and they've all got the same expectation. But suddenly, the Chelsea players are all going to hit form. Nice context, guys. Man. That makes sense. I like that. Good context.
Can you take 10 seconds?
Waffling. I'll take it from SHEROY. because he's top of the league. But you two.
Can you take 10 seconds? Can you take 10 seconds to relax and calm down and end the show?
No, I'm not going to calm down because you man are waffling. When it comes to your players,
I told you at the start.
When it comes to your young players,
I told you
give them time. We got. I'm just going to say we have to give Nunes time. We have to give Anthony time.
I told you at the start of the show today. I told you at the start. I told you at the start of the show. I told you at the start of the show. I've made notes.
No, you're not going to get to do that. You're waffling.
And I told you at the start of the show. I've made notes, and you haven't been backing or making valid excuses for my absence on the show. I've got you rattled. Let's end the show.
We got a lot of super chats, man.
Yeah.
Guys, we got a lot of super chats.
Let's end the show now. Now, bun the super chats. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat.
Nah,
we got there's a lot of super chats.
I said thank you, innit? Thank you for the super chats. It's coming up to midnight.
What
it's
just
2.5
happened
hour show. we done what me and TOBS done what we had to do.
No. I just no.
We done what we had to do. You called me a donkey.
You lost your head.
Live on stream.
Because you were waffling.
Grizz, what did you call me again?
You two been showing up today.
You called me a donkey as well.
No, because
and he's the host.
No.
He's the host.
No, Sheroy's the host.
I'm complaining. I'm putting in complaints.
You two today have been showing up. You two have been shown up for being flip-flops. The same thing you call SAEED. You've been shown up for being hypocrites.
No problem.
The same thing you say. Yeah, you've been shown up for flip-flops, hypocrites. And your football IQ has fallen. Simple. That's it.
You're describing yourself.
No, because bro, I just caught you in your own trap, and now you're just gonna try and put it as a troll. Nah, bro.
SHEROY literally listed.
That's what's left of Matisse.
That's what's left of
Matisse. That's what's finished.
You don't need to repeat this.
I got a point. I got a point. Anybody who heard, I got a point.
That's what's left of Matisse.
Your head's gone.
Right, let's go read the super chats, guys.
TOBS, we feasted.
Sheroy, I'm gonna let you read them out, man. I'm pissed.
We feasted.
And you know what? To think half an hour ago, Matisse was sitting there debating. Should we talk about Chelsea or should we not?
This is what we do, SHEROY. SHEROY, this is what we do.
Blender, man.
This is what we do.
Yeah.
This is what we do.
Matisse, you can read the super chats now if you want.
Quality.
Or SHEROY.
Right, let's calm down. Yeah. End the stream, Dave. End the stream.
Yeah, let's read it.
So the Superchats then, actually, are you back on hosting or is your head still gone?
Do you know what? Yeah, for all the chat saying, "Oh, this terrible host." This is my sixth show. Hold on a second. Let me cuss out them. This is my sixth show. No. Let me go in on this chat. This is my sixth show today. Yeah, I'm not even a host on this show. It's Turkish the host. I'm standing in. Do you know what I'm saying? This is my sixth show, and you man are coming at me for being a bad host. Of course,
we appreciate you.
No.
You need to appreciate. You man need to genuinely appreciate because I'm putting in the work.
We appreciate you.
2.5 hours hosting. Hosting this show.
You need to appreciate it, man.
Nah, man.
You're a big boy host. You're a big boy host.
Let me keep the grace and decorum in it.
Yeah. Now after calling me a donkey and shit.
TOBS so quick to snap at SAEED, leave him alone. GRIZZ looks like a Statue of Liberty. Man.
What the fuck does that mean?
I would be so angry if I supported Tottenham. Only Saka, Gabriel, Saliba.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone else was all for free mid runners, doubling up out wide, blocking our second zone markers, Gabriel and Saliba from corner ended us. Manchester United had a worst season in our Prem history last season. The fact that we are even in this position you lot should be ashamed of yourself. Big up SAEED holding it down for United. Arsenal have had their manager 3.5 years when I got here for 7 months ago. Kalima, as my friend Grizz would say. Ten Hag ask again in April. So till then, one game at a time. Okay. I say it with chest. We in the title race. You see my central defensive midfielder, real big dog, you know, come to the theatre to play silly games. You'll get slapped up. United forever.
You literally get strangled up and then get sent off.
Martial 7 and 14. Nunes could never waste over 85 million. I'm an Arsenal fan, and I think Man United in the title race for me, they will finish second. They can even win the league if we bottle it. Their team is great. 109 million on loan pivot.
Why is it El Zanzi? Why do people say El Zanzi? I don't understand the El Zanzi comparison. Like, it's mad.
I'm not asked. Thank you for the super chat. Rival fans want to talk about United spending 200 mil while Chelsea and 10th spending 600 mil. GRIZZ how was the
the paratha? That's the food. Yeah, it was sick. As
Real
you
G.
Yeah, man. Finished it like we finished Matisse.
We demand success. That Potter bum don't though. You see, you're falling into their trap because now, you know what, let me not fall into their trap, man. You silly fucking idiots, man. Nah, man, I don't like what you two have done. I don't like what you two have done.
Why are you swearing at me, Matisse? I'm your friend, bro. I'm your bro.
Screw you, man.
Same, man.
Don't talk to me. And you two are the devil. Don't talk to me. You two are the devils.
I'm Matisse's older brother. He already knows I'm his older
talk to
brother,
me,
man.
man.
Me and Matisse are older. I mean, it's all right,
You
man.
guys are
Families.
evil. No, don't talk
He
to
called
me.
his older brother a donkey, man. He called his older brother a donkey. Live on stream. He lost it.
Lost his head.
He lost his head. You donkey! And then he thought, oh shit.
You man had to make me put myself bottom left. Nah, Grizz, you got me in stitches. That food. Grizz Liverpool in a fight to make top 6. Oh my. Bring a suit next time, Matisse. No, man, I'm glad I didn't. But again, we should not see 600 million spent and not give an expectation better performance as a result. Should be a formality. Whether the end result is top 4, these players that have signed were viewed different. Anthony scored 3 in his first 3. Where is he now? Arthur is a flip-flop, make bare vids about his players, and now he's excited for them. Says I can't be asked, bro. If Potter won 10 games, he'd change his mind. No, really, bro. Listen, let's see what Potter does, innit? Let's see what Potter does, bro. The Jan window didn't close, 10-point deficit and take the teams ahead of us out of form. Arsenal were in the top 4 already last Jan. It's true. It's very true. All right. All right, we're wrapping up. Fucking hell.
You missed another one, I think.
Huh? Which one did I miss? Another one.
Yeah, you missed the HK music.
It is a big
20 quid one
Just
as
read
well.
that out and be done with it. That's a big one, man.
Where is it? Hold on.
Yeah.
You haven't
20 quid one
started.
from Nathaniel Wilmer.
Read it out, man.
Oh, okay, I see it. Big up. That's a big donation. I got you, bro. Arsenal spent 300 million to finish 8th twice, then 5th. Anybody got anything to say? Oh,
Just spent that in January, bro.
no. I'm just asking, bro. Anybody? No. Okay.
But it's
So
again.
you had a lot to say on that.
No. But I'm just asking. Is that?
No, it's not acceptable.
Okay.
And I'm keeping the same energy. You're the one that's not keeping the same energy.
I am.
You're not.
I am.
Because you were with me.
I'm not. I just told you I don't expect to finish 8th. I expect to finish literally minimum top 6, bro. And then,
No.
then
I'm
go
not
from
talking about
there.
minimum top 6. We're talking top 4.
Yeah, bro. We have to get top 6, then we go from there, bro. We have to.
No.
Walk
We're
before you can run,
talking
bro.
top 4.
No, we have to walk before we can run, bro. We have.
Walk before we can run. Okay.
You would never keep.
Other teams have to run straight away. Okay.
Bro, this is bro. You know he hasn't been managing for the full season. You know this is you know that right. So you want me to do? What do you mean? Pot it out?
You literally got sacked in like.
You know that, right?
What are you talking about?
I don't care how well Arsenal is playing now. They would easily end up nothing when all said is. They could easily end up with nothing when all said is done. Okay, cool. I think we've got everything.
Nah, you missed Nathaniel Wilmer's one.
Huh?
You missed one. Nathaniel Wilmer, 20 quid.
No, I've done that one.
I don't think you have.
Yeah, I have. I read that one out just now. Yeah, I just read that.
Are you sure? I didn't hear it.
Well, I'll read it again anyway. But again, we should not see 600 million spent and not give any expectation. Yeah, I already read this one.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Thank you for the super chats.
Jesus Christ, I don't know how Turkish does it. Guys, listen, it's been a great show. Way over time. Over time. I'm glad I left my thing to the end because I was able to host up until the last.
You thought you were going to get away with it, bro. You should know us better.
Brother, you guys jumping on my neck after one result. What are you going to do after 3-4?
What are you going to do?
We'll see.
You man are sharks, man. Anyway, Hugh, big up your damn self. Appreciate it. Great show. SAEED, let them know. Let them know. Listen, big up your damn selves. Make sure you guys subscribe to Hugh, to SAEED. GRIZZ is back in the cut. Do you know what I'm saying? Community man, family man. TOBS, donkey, bastard.
I love you too, man. I love you too.
And our Davidson.
Big debut. Big debut.
Big up. Listen.
Big debut.
Come on, man.
Big debut.
Big.
Thank you. No one's ever going to replace Turkish, man. I hope we gave the viewers a solid show. 2 hours 42 minutes. I
Solid. I think the best debut on the Big Six.
Yeah, I gotta say.
Love. I don't think Matisse said it yet, so I'm going to do it just because I know Turkish would. If you ain't liked the video already, definitely like it on the way out, people. 2 hours 42 minutes, 10 to midnight in the UK.
9K people watching, man, like for 3 hours nearly, man. Big up the chat, big up the support, big up the love, smash up the likes. You know what I mean? The host lost it a little bit, but we here. You know what I mean?
Mad. And
it's good to be back.
Let's go through prediction table quickly before we end. SAEED's top with 14 correct scores, 86 points. I'm second with 14 correct scores, 83 points. Hugh, 10 correct scores, 77 points. Turkish, 7 correct scores, 75 points. TOBS, 9 correct scores, 74 points. Mad. And then GRIZZ, 8 correct scores, 74 points. That's mad.
Ain't easy.
Table. Ain't easy, man. SAEED's still leading the way, doing his thing.
No,
guys.
Are you in the title race in that in the thing?
Me?
Yeah,
of course.
We're gonna
No,
win that one.
Saeed.
Don't worry.
Are you gonna win that one? Okay.
Right. Yeah. 100%. What do you believe? Guys,
What do you
make sure you
believe?
subscribe. Make sure you follow. Make sure you smash up the likes. I can't wait to see the comments on this stream. Jesus Christ. In a bit, people.